I'm the boss. So wow, now I'm live. And the first thing I said is I'm the boss. Okay, Will said 5 minutes. I should tell him
Okay.
he has 3, but I'm not going to because I'm not mean. I just hate that it's like if you want to go live, you can. Like no shit. I know when I
It's like,
scheduled the
obviously I'm
fucking
allowed.
show. Yeah, like I know
It's
when
like,
I
I know what I'm
scheduled the
doing.
show.
It's like, let me be.
Done. And then we go to the tweeters.
I just thought of something.
No. What up?
When there's 4 of us, aren't our little people gonna get covered up?
Maybe not. I mean, they're already kind of covered. I can talk to. I'm gonna see. I haven't been able to see with that many people in. I can talk to Vince and maybe. Well, actually, I have it. I can probably make them smaller. So
You can either make them smaller or you can make our windows smaller.
I'd rather.
What?
What?
You started talking and then you like faded out.
Oh, I think it's because I had opened Twitch before I got into the thing. What I was saying was that I think I'd rather make us smaller than the window smaller.
Which, I mean, technically would be us, but yes.
The Funkos smaller.
Our little Funkos. We're so cute.
But like once more people come in, it like moves everything up and it shrinks the windows already. So we'll see how it looks.
Yeah. I was just like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think sometimes I have a brain. Well, live from the bodega himself, it's Justin.
That's right. How y'all doing?
What up, Just?
Are you okay?
Yeah, wait, what's up?
What was that voice?
I just wanted to sound like one of the zombies from the movie. From the movie.
I think you nailed it.
I was gonna say you sounded like a frog.
Oh, well,
Damn.
you know, Bud, Wise. Oh,
You like all of our little Funkos at the bottom, Justin?
dude, that is so yes.
We're so cute. Look at us.
So when Will shows up, like you said, it's probably gonna do that. However, when I go here and I do this, 3 people is the perfect amount of people to display our shit.
Now we know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We're so cute.
Oh, I should probably change this too.
Yep.
The sizing on the Funkos, are they all the same or they're slightly bigger?
No, you and Matt are bigger.
Listen, I did it from my phone. All right.
Oh, well, no, I could tell.
I didn't notice it until now. That's why.
I mean, I am the smallest out of the 4 of us, height-wise, so.
Fair.
But I also have a pointy hat, so that gives me, like,
And
5
people don't know,
inches.
but Justin's like 6'9".
Dude,
if I could spell, Jesus Christ.
these movies, man. Oh,
What are you talking about? It was a great time.
We gotta wait for Will. Let's not get
something.
ahead of
Let me
ourselves.
tell you something.
He said, "Let me tell you something."
Hey, since we're not live, right? Oh God, we are.
We are live.
He said, "Hey, listen."
You just put what you want to say in the private chat.
Yeah, or I'll wait. But
are you gonna remember?
Yeah, I think so.
Why don't you like write it down in your phone?
But then you got to answer it, and then we're just like, it's gonna be like this.
Well, no, you don't have to send it. I'm just saying, like, write it down so you remember.
Oh, got you.
I got that big brain sometimes.
So did you guys watch Revolution?
No.
Yeah, I watched basically everything up until like 10 minutes of the main event, and then I hopped on here.
Yeah, I watched the Sting match. Well, I didn't really watch it. It was just in the background. And yeah, it was something. But
What's happening? He's just dancing.
I can hear you guys now.
So I could make, I don't know, because like I guess.
Well, yeah, because me
can
and
do-
Justin are just completely covered.
Yeah, but even if I make you smaller, even a little bit smaller, like
Yeah, I mean, there's not gonna be an ow. It would just have to be like 3 people to be like perfect.
Pull us all off the screen. Let me see the background.
Bring it back.
Matt, put you in the middle of the Funkos, and then put 3 small blocks across the top. So
Well,
we would all.
when we do this, it works out perfect. So a 3-band show works out perfect.
Why did he leave? He didn't have to.
I knew he was gonna do that.
It's all right. Maybe we don't.
I was just kidding.
I know.
I knew he was gonna do it. I was like, I bet you Will. When he hears that, he's gonna leave.
Oh, I want to do this now, even though we're live, so that way I don't forget later. Because I didn't
Why
do
not?
it, but we haven't run the intro yet. So
Happening, y'all. I know.
Oh yeah, good call.
it was the one thing I forgot to do.
I mean, you were prepared on everything else though, so like that's a good thing.
Katie made a point. I could try and make the windows smaller. I could look into how to do that. I could make the Funkos a little smaller. I was also thinking of to cancel. No, I want to edit you. Let me do this. Edit and then save. I could just do it like that. But no, because then it's still big. All right. I'm gonna need that there. So I don't know, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's all right.
I need to get with you and screen share with you, and I'll show you how to go in and build custom layouts in StreamYard, and you can make it look like whatever you want.
Also, look at you with the ticker on the bottom. Okay.
Well, I thought the ticker would still shrink it up like it
counter
is. Yeah, and then I was like, then I can just make the window smaller and everything's good. And I'll just run everything on a ticker. No.
That's okay.
All right, I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff and we're gonna go live and start recording.
Okay.
I mean, we're already live, but you know what I mean. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your #1 horror podcast on places where you can find people having sex on the internet, getting off. I am your host, the patron saint of podcast, and the Warden Mad Ritter, and I am here with my co-hosts today. She is host of the She-Lead Showcase, Inside the Mind of, In the Crowd, Getting Off, and Storytime with Miss Katie Kinsey, baby.
Hi.
He is the purveyor of Rivet City Radio, host of Botch Spots and Chair Shots, Botch Spots After Dark, and occasional host of a couple things on Off the Top Media as well, should the need be there. And the honorary Oos of Creation World. He is also one half of the DP Bros, a chef by trade, a mark by choice, the Will Gray.
Hola, Mateo. ¿Cómo estás?
Good, how are you?
I'm well.
Last but certainly not least, we have 3 of the 4 members of the core 4 today, ladies and gentlemen. My favorite Filipino from the Get Show podcast, the man that stole my co-host because all of his friends left him and he needed to replace them with my co-host. Live from Chicago, it's your boy Just.
That's right, GTA motherfuckers, we're here.
Out of here.
Were you with Vince last night? Is that why he wasn't here?
No, I wish that was the truth, but no. I mean, a whole day's worth of wedding planning. I think that's only for him and Melissa and whoever else is doing the wedding planning. It's a long process, man. It's a detail oriented type of thing.
It is. I feel like over 12 hours of it is a little excessive. I would not have. I would have gotten myself offed before that was over.
See what you did there.
It depends if you're involved. If everyone's involved, then it could be I want this. How do you feel about this? Let's do this. Let's try this. So it could be a back and forth type of thing. Kind of like this movie. Where it's let's try to make this like the game, and then not trying to make this like the game, and then let's not make this like the game, and then let's try to remember it's about a game.
So I'm getting the general consensus because, ladies and gentlemen, not only are we debuting a new background and a new format for the show, which I'm going to tell you about now. If you guys are not familiar with the show Smackin' Raw, that is hosted by me and my co-host, Miss Katie Kinsey Bay, and SES Vince, who is also 1/3 of, technically 1/2 because Benji never shows up, of the Get Show podcast. We do a thing called spit or swallow. We spit or swallow the week in wrestling. We swallow what we like and we spit what we don't like, and it's been successful and it works, and we're good at it. So we decided that's what we're going to do here for our franchise reviews as well. If you do something good, do it more. Or there's a saying like that, something like that.
I think you nailed it.
If you do something, do it well. I don't know, but we will be spitting or swallowing the entire Resident Evil franchise, all 6 movies. Justin, it doesn't sound like you were a fan of the Resident Evil franchise.
I was a fan of the first movie. The first one. The first one was good.
Okay.
After that, though.
Will, where are you standing on all the 6 as a whole?
I'm only super familiar with 3 holes, but I'm curious about learning about the other 3 throughout the episode.
Okay.
I like that.
The movies were okay, but we'll get there. I've got lots to say.
Good. And Katie, seeing as this was your pick, we're like, hey, we need something to do between WWE horror movies and Leprechaun, and you're like, let's do Resident Evil. After rewatching everything, how are you feeling?
I stand by my decision.
Okay.
I stand by it.
Well, before we get into the crux of this show, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us. If you're watching us at twitch.tv/Creation World, where if you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming. If you have Prime Gaming, you get a free sub on Twitch every month when you link your Twitch account to your Prime account. You're already paying for Prime, so this is just a bonus little thing for you that you can give to your favorite Twitch streamers to help support them and what they do. Now, that could be me. That could be Miss Katie Kinsey Bay. It could be Rivet City Radio, which I was on earlier today. And if you guys haven't checked that out, you should go check out Botch Spots and Chair Shots from today. And every day. The interviews, everything that they do over there is fantastic. I may or may not be on the She Leads Showcase later this week. So tune in and find out just to see if I am or am not there. And once you're there, stick around and find out how fucking awesome it is. And with Justin, you never know. I might just get a text on Wednesday morning being like, hey, this is the sweaty session. Come join me. And then Vince will text me a different sweaty session and I'll figure it out by the time I get there. So
that's how it is.
You got to tune in to Get Your Podcast to find out what they have going on there. But the 3 of us live on Twitch, you guys can support us or your favorite Twitch streamers. You guys can also check us out at youtube.com/Creation World, where it is free to like, to subscribe, to comment. Will, what does that do?
It boosts the algorithm and it helps find new listeners.
It's his thing. That's where it came from, ladies and gentlemen. The man right there. Yes, and new listeners are important to me. Why, Katie?
Because you're a whore.
I am a whore. I'm a whore for your likes, for your comments, for your views, for your listens, for your entertainment. Normally I say don't tell my wife, but I think like 2 weeks ago I told her that I have Katie calling me a whore very frequently. Thank you. Appreciate it. So I'm here to entertain you guys. We are trying to do our best to give you the content that you want. And the best way to show your support is to boost the algorithm and help us find new listeners, whether it is your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your best friend, random people at school, somebody you met at a gas station, whoever it might be that you're like, hey, he's got a horror t-shirt. He might like this show. Tell people about it. Spread the word. Word of mouth is the best promotion. And on top of that, liking, subscribing, and commenting, as well as flicking the bean to get notified every time we go live, whether it is every Friday now for the Creation Conversation at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, every Saturday at 11 p.m. currently, might adjust that time here very shortly, 11 p.m. Central, midnight Eastern for Smacking It Raw, and every other Sunday, including tonight for Getting Off at 11 p.m. Central, midnight Eastern as well. I think I plugged all the things. Travis would be happy. Let's do what we do. All right. So, Just, you said you enjoyed the first movie, so I'm gonna let you kick it off. Justin, Resident Evil, spit or swallow?
Oh, the first one, definitely a swallow. Definitely a swallow.
Sorry.
You got a specific swallow from the movie?
Okay, so this was like, I forgot what year this was. It was like definitely early 2000s, right? So this
2002. I actually put the year next to the title.
Okay. So this is like 2002, and I forgot that, films back then in 2002, they were all trying to find like this cyberpunk edge to them, especially with the music,
Okay.
especially everything that was going on. Like, do you remember Buffy the Vampire Slayer on CW came out? Very same thing,
Yes.
very edgy, same music. Angel, what's that movie? What's that other show? But they were all trying to hit that same vibe, right? And I think this is this is what they were trying to do here. And then even with the look, like, they had, what's her name? How you pronounce her name? Mila Djokovic?
Jovovich.
Jokovic? That's what I said. She wears like those high boots. You know what I'm saying? Those high boots, right? And I don't know if you guys know, but those were kind of like dubbed like the CMFs, like the come fuck me boots. I don't know if you ever heard that term before, but that's what they were called. So I remember a lot
in the collection,
Yeah,
Justin. I know you're.
I
I know you're a shoe guy.
I don't personally, but yeah, it
You got
was
a pair of
just
CMF Jordans, Jordan CMFs, Jordan ones.
with the high skirt with the slit. Yeah, of course.
Yes,
Those are just some of my spits and swallows. I mean, I'll get into other things too, but like I remember
CMF,
this is
baby.
also the era. This is also the era of Born Identity, right? So like Memento,
Okay.
Born Identity, those movies were all doing this flashback type of scenes to like try to make storytelling cool. And I remember this is exactly what Resident Evil is trying to do. They're trying to do the same thing, but just failed at it. So like watching the film and then taking me back to that era, I was just like, yo, they're trying to combine everything that's going on into this movie.
So
Overall, I thought it was.
Are you spitting or swallowing the feel of the era of the movie?
Oh, I'm swallowing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Katie, spit or swallow?
I'm see, it's like part of me wants to like go in order of like the movie, but then part of me like doesn't.
In
So
order
we
of
go-
what happened in the movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like
I mean-
part of me doesn't want to. At the same
That's how
time.
I took my notes, because obviously as you're watching a movie, you're going to put everything down in chronological order.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, but yesterday we also did that, but we went all over the damn place. So
As long as you stick to the first movie, you can spit or swallow anything you want.
listen, well, the first movie is fucking phenomenal. I'm swallowing the Red Queen. Everything
Okay.
about her. And she is the computer program for Umbrella in the Hive, and she's a little homicidal bitch, as she's been called in a few of the movies. Just a computer program having that much power and killing a bunch of people underground is wild. What?
I mean, theoretically, she's the one that started the zombie outbreak, right? She killed
Yeah.
all of those people knowing they were infected, and then they all turned. Like, it's on her. She did that.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't the one who released the virus.
She didn't release the
but-
virus. However, like, people would have gone about their day, eventually died of natural causes and turned. But,
Maybe.
like, she immediately made an army of zombies, just said, fuck it, everybody now.
She said, fuck it, we ball zombies. Basically. And you know what? What a way to start the fucking franchise. Started off with a mass underground murder of people, and then they get turned into zombies. And listen, you're all gonna die down here. One of the best quotes of the entire franchise. It's said in like 3 of the movies. And every time it gets said, it just makes me a little happy. Because it's great. So yeah, I love the Red Queen. She's a crazy little bitch, and I love her.
You're all gonna die down here.
You're all going to die down here.
You look like you
She's
want to say
great.
something, Will.
I'm trying to figure out the order I want to attack this because I don't want to use one of my spits or swallows early.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I also had Katie's on my list, except I wrote it as proof AI is the devil, right? Specifically because she murdered everybody. Like, we had the poison gas, we had drowning lab techs, we had elevator decapitation.
Oh, it was
Then,
beautiful.
for whatever reason, like, just knockout gas for people just outside of the hive that, I don't know, may or may not be infected. So we're just going to slow them down a little bit. The laser grid hallway, which is probably the greatest part of the
best one.
movie.
Yep.
Oh my god,
controlled
it's
by her.
so fucking good. Everything about the laser grid is fucking dope.
So yeah, no, AI is the devil. Movies have been telling us that for years, and we just continue to ignore it and give AI more and more power and capabilities.
Right.
Will, spit or swallow?
Okay, I made my decision.
Good.
I have 4 things written down for the first movie. I have 1
Okay.
spit, and I'm going to use it right now. All right, and I'm gonna to rain on your parade. I'm spitting the inconsistency of the zombies in this movie. Okay,
Yes.
because
Yes.
this is the first movie. This is the first time
Mhm.
we're exposed to the T virus, and you see what I did there with that pun.
You did.
So we get exposed to the T virus, and I feel like going back and rewatching the movie and like listening to people talk about it and stuff, it brought back some things that made me go, you know what? Like, those are really viable points. Like, they used different types of zombies throughout this entire movie. And as the series gets further, you'll see that like the evolution of their zombies, they don't go with zombie movies. They don't really go with the video game at all.
Okay.
So like at one point you're like, is this a really dope ass zombie movie? No, wait, it's a video game. No, wait, no, it's a zombie movie. Like, it's kind of inconsistent. And that I agree with Katie. Like, when it comes back around to me, I'll thicken on that statement a little bit. But like,
I like it
I
thick.
feel like the inconsistencies with the bad guys in this movie, because you get a whole lot of them, and there's no explanation as to why the T virus made all these different versions. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm with you. I feel that way more so about the franchise as a whole. Like you said, we're going to talk about that. I do have 2 notes on the T virus real quick for my spits and swallows. One, I will forever be haunted by this movie because there is a zombie when they get to the dining hall, or as I've now dubbed it, the calf. When they get to dining hall B and the zombies start coming out, the one dragging the axe has a broken ankle, and it's broken the same way that I broke my ankle, and I watch it and I feel it every time he steps. I get a twinge of pain
PTSD.
up my leg. Yeah, no, it's fucking PTSD. Also, with you talking about the inconsistency, right? Rain took forever to turn. And you don't see that going forward in the franchise or really anywhere else where like Rain took forever to die and turn into a zombie. Later on, people will get bit and they'll turn within like 5 minutes. Like that. And go ahead, Katie. What?
There are a few people in the franchise who do take a while to turn. It's not just Rain. Rain
Yup.
is the longest,
Yep.
Longest, yes.
but there are a few
There's
other
an
people who take.
inconsistency there.
There are a few people who take a little bit of time. It's not 5 minutes, but it's at least a day.
Yeah.
So
My first swallow should surprise nobody. This movie kicked off with a trend that almost every movie except for one in the franchise follows, ladies and gentlemen. Naked Alice. Every movie, Mila Jovovich at some point,
Yeah.
if not multiple points, wakes up naked for something happening.
yeah.
I mean, even in Fifth Element, that's how it was too for her.
She likes being nude. There's nothing wrong with it.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's a swallow.
Oh no!
Swallow
Oh yeah!
Naked Alice.
Oh,
Naked Alice trend. All right, Just spit or swallow.
okay. I'm spitting the part where I forgot the name of the dude, but he sacrificed himself so that everyone can escape and get on the train. But he just screams, "Go!" And then the scene cuts to Alice just looking at him like through the little vent, and then he like offs himself.
Oh,
And
are
I
you
was
talking
just
about
like-
Kaplan?
Yeah. To like sacrifice himself so that like the zombies don't get everybody else, so they just get him. And just the acting in that scene was just horrible. I just thought,
Okay.
yeah, and it was just a weird cut too. You know, like they could have just ended it with him saying no, and then you hear the gunfire. But yet they had that scene where she's just looking through the vent and like, okay, and then she leaves, and then they go. I just thought that was just a weird thing.
death. They faked this out with Kaplan's death once, and then he showed back up, and then they really
Yeah.
killed him too.
Yeah, like they fake it out when they're like on top of the. I don't even know what you would call them. Like, what would you call those? I don't even know.
Oh, you're-
Like when
It's
they're
the
walking
ventilation
across
system?
and then yeah, like in the ventilation system thing, it like breaks and then he falls and then that's when he screams go.
the vent. You're talking about the vent. Or the
Yeah,
regular
but like that
elimination,
was
because the vent
Yeah.
is the ultimate weapon in this franchise.
it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
So you don't
That's
like
that's my
Kaplan's
spin.
acting?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Fair enough.
editorial sequence is what I'm spitting.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay. Katie, spit or swallow?
I'm all right, the phrasing's gonna be really weird. I'm well hold on. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. No, fuck it. I'm swallowing the liquors.
So I have them down as, because again, I dubbed Dining Hall B the calf monsters.
Okay. I went by video game logic because that's what they're called in the video game.
Yeah.
So just what?
You swallowing liquors seems apropos. That's all.
Well,
It's as predictable as the end of that match at Revolution.
you know what? Regardless, they're cool, and it's like, yeah, we see like normal zombies, and we see like zombie dogs, which are also equally dope because they're like Dobermans and shit, and they're fucking evil. But the liquors are just so crazy, slimy, massive and fast, and
Lychee.
it's just they're just really cool to see. And I mean, because of that, we get the ending that leads into the bad guy, the big bad in the second movie. And so like it's, I don't know, they're cool and they're a continuation kind of throughout the series. And that's just like because I love the video game so much. So like that's always like a nice little plus for me.
I just think it's weird that there's a whole dining hall labeled Dining Hall B. It
You're
just has
still on
pods
this.
of liquors and that have pods of liquors, right? Just liquor pods everywhere. And nobody working in the office ever said, you know what? Everyone's kind of being a dick today. I'm just going to go eat in Dining Hall B by myself. And then they get down there and there's no calf. Like,
What place has no calf, right?
Shout out to the calf.
The liquors are a good representation of what I was talking about, though, because you get the beginning of the movie, the people setting the T virus, killing the lab techs and all that nonsense, and then obviously spreading. We know that from the time that happens to when Alice wakes up isn't like an enormous amount of time. So we see like every evolution of the T virus that could be possible up until this point in like no time of the story. We see everything from people who have been contaminated, who die and almost turn, all the way up to liquors and the big bad guys and the zombie dogs. And there's no bearing on time on how would Matt turn into a liquor, or would I, because I worked in kitchens.
Well,
and
no, so technically the liquors are mutated shit that they had in pods. Like that was
before like the
yeah,
outbreak.
Dr. Isaacs was cooking that shit down there long before the outbreak ever happened. Those things just existed.
Yeah, they
and
were just vibing down there.
there was a hail of bullets as they were shooting zombies that like busted pods open and shit, and that's how they got out. They decompressed the pods and released the liquors.
Because they had to shut the power off to the Red Queen
Right.
because she's crazy. So, you know, it
Dude,
happens.
how do you keep losing your Dickosaurus?
well, they probably keep flagging it because you know it's a penis.
Yeah,
It's a dinosaur.
It's a dinosaur.
It's a
That's
dick.
what I've used every time. I've said it's a dinosaur.
it's a
is.
penis.
It's a Parasaurolophus.
Does it have a companion, Ridiculosaurus? Like a clitoris?
Go
Clitosaurus.
home. Close the bodega and go home.
That's the
Clitosaurus
next
Rex.
one out.
Will spit or swallow?
I'm gonna swallow the fact. I'm gonna go ahead and swallow. This is my favorite one of the 6, and then what's the last one? The Welcome to Raccoon City, which apparently we're not covering, so I rewatched it for no reason.
Oh my god.
It's my favorite
Totally forgot.
movie. Okay. And from beginning to end, I think that if you took every other movie out of this series, you could watch this one and go, okay, that was dope as shit.
Yes.
And you wouldn't need any of the other movies.
Yes.
And I think that's important.
Is Welcome to Raccoon City the series?
I don't think so. I thought the series was something else. Welcome to Raccoon City was a movie. I thought it was the 2018 movie.
It's the it's like that weird animation one because there's two. Of them.
Okay. I'm gonna spit ignoring red flags. Everything about Spence was a red flag.
Mhm.
The fact that they found him on the train, not when they came in, and they're not asking questions. The fact that this man, so he had no issue watching the woman, even though his memory was a little shoddy, that he was married to, basically fall in love with Matt right in front of him, even though his whole reasoning for releasing the T virus which was to sell the T virus. So I don't know why he broke it if he wanted to steal it to sell it,
Right.
to make money so that they could get the fuck away from Umbrella. Everything about this guy was a red flag.
Yeah.
And they ignored all the red flags.
Yeah. I know, like, girls tend to do, like, I do that. So, like, I
Guy,
get
we
it.
know. We know.
Hey!
Whoa.
Hey!
Whoa.
Wow!
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about it on the show. You said
Whoa.
that you are basically a walking red flag because you don't ignore them.
It's because of the
I know.
liquors. It's because of the liquors.
I need to stop talking on the show.
Blame it on the liquors.
Do I need to write that down too?
Yes.
Hell no.
Yeah, no. Like this man is watching the woman because they weren't really clear if like they were actually in love or if it was just a marriage of convenience, but he did say like, I stole the virus for us. And it's like, well, you didn't steal the virus. Like, well, you did, but you also broke the virus for no reason. I guess to help you get out unnoticed, but you were already there. You infected a shit ton of fucking people. And then you were gonna leave her and get on the train, like shady fuckboy shit, Will.
Yeah.
Very shady.
True.
Also push the girl the dude drinking coffee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he bumped into
That's
the
a
dude.
huge red flag. Come on, didn't even say sorry. You know?
Props to Matt. I mean, almost props to Matt. If it wasn't for what happened at the end and the liquor attack, he might have fucked the woman of the man that killed his sister. And that's retribution right there. Not the movie, but actual retribution.
Fair.
You killed
Yeah,
my sister, I took your wife. Like,
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair deal.
you got any more spits or swallows, Jess?
No. Just the overall, this movie is good. The first one.
Pop off. Katie?
I think everything that I wanted to say has been covered.
William?
Swallowed, huge success on a limited budget. Alice is an amnesia badass who becomes 11 from Stranger Things.
All right.
Not
my
in
last
this
thing,
movie.
not yet, but we'll get there.
We'll get there.
My last thing is actually a spit. And it's them reopening the hive at the end of the movie. I get like it's the transition, and so like, oh, there's gonna be a sequel. They're like, reopen the hive. We need to know what happened down there. And it's like you have two people who were literally there. You could leave that shit sealed, wait till they wake up and interrogate them and find out what the fuck happened down there. There's no need to reopen the hive.
Well, one, Umbrella is shady fucking people. It's a corporation. It's the mega power. And Matt was infected, so they couldn't really like wait for him to be okay because spoiler, he's not fucking okay in the next movie.
He's cut up.
But like Alice, they definitely could have like waited and been like, "Hey, yo, bitch, what the fuck happened down there?" I mean, she wouldn't have told him anyway because fuck Umbrella.
True. So general consensus was that Jess, you said this was your favorite movie in the franchise. Will, you said the
Yep.
same?
Yep.
Okay. Katie?
I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's a swallow, obviously.
Well, the next movie in the franchise, Resident Evil Apocalypse, is my personal favorite in the franchise. I don't know about you guys. I fucking love this movie. I absolutely love this movie.
It was a ride.
2004.
It was a ride.
2 years after. We've got a Slipknot song for the theme song. And I'll kick it off. First swallow, the naked Alice trope continues. First, she wakes up in a shower, and this one, she's waking up in a hospital bed in not so much of a hospital gown, but like
It's just like two pieces of like kind of paper.
Yeah, basically. It's like tissue
That's
paper.
really it.
combined.
Yeah, basically.
which we also saw at the end of the movie. They were kind of like picking up where she left off at the end of the movie, where she stumbled out into Raccoon City naked. Exactly. But Naked Alice trope continues. Just spit or swallow.
I am okay. Hold on, because right now I'm kind of getting the movies confused. So this is the one that there's an action scene in the church, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the one where so I'm swallowing that scene, the action scene in the church, right? Because
With the liquors.
With the liquors, yeah. So then, because all of a sudden Alice has like, she becomes a Rough Rider and starts doing X Games stunt stuff. And this chick starts doing backflips, right? She lands it clean. She pops a deuce Glock and shoots the gasket of the BMW S1000 XR. I had to look it up. And like just
Wow.
blows up everybody in the church. I mean,
That's
come on. I mean,
awesome.
that whole scene, and the scene where she shoots the chains of a cross so that it falls in the liquor, so that the
Mhm.
power of Christ compels you. I mean, come on. That whole scene is definitely a swallow.
The fact that you looked up what type of motorcycle it was.
I had to look because I was like, there is a reason why they put these things in here. You know what I'm saying? They want you to know. And I think
Yeah, of course.
and I think I forgot which game was out. I can't remember if it's Code Veronica or one of them, but I know that bike was in one of the games too. So that's why I looked it up also.
Yeah, 2004. I don't know which game it came out.
Yeah. So that scene definitely is a swallow.
Oh, 100%.
No, it was one of the coolest scenes in the movie.
Yeah,
Hands
breaking
down.
through the shattered glass, dude. Like,
Dope shit.
Katie, spit or swallow?
I'm I am swallowing Carlos Oliveira. Let's go, my man. I love this man with my heart and fucking
the leading
soul.
man right here, the leading man of the movie.
That's my leading man. Oded Fair, fantastic actor. I love him in all of the movies. So anytime he's in one of these movies, it's a swallow, just so everybody's aware.
Oh, dude, he like, you think he dies? Now he's right there.
Haha,
know?
just kidding, he's alive. Like he's an operative and he tries to save the lady on the roof and she ends up jumping anyways, which like I get it. She got bit. I wouldn't want to be alive either at that point. Just like he's a badass. His connection with Alice is like my favorite thing in the whole world because I'm a sucker for love and I love their love. And then I don't really get their love until like the fucking 5th movie and it pisses me off. But it's fine. And Carlos is not like as big of a character in the games, but like I think in Resi 4 he kind of is, but like it's the only one, and I don't know, I just love Carlos. He's my favorite.
He also rode with Zach Ward, who played Nikolai Janinov,
Yeah.
who a year prior to this was the brother that was killed in Freddy versus Jason, that Freddy like comes back as.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I
Love
know.
that.
I love it.
Did the games come out? Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
I think
the games
2
came out.
games came out first, right? Before the first movie.
I think so.
Yeah, I know for sure. Like the first 2 came out before the actual movie.
Yeah. Now there's like 8 games if you don't count like the spin-offs and shit.
Oh,
And
dude,
they remastered a few of them.
and the spin-offs are like never ending.
Yeah, I never played like any of the spin-offs.
Did you want to add on to Carlos there, Will, or you just want to spit or swallow? Because you have the most like expressive face. I always feel like like when you were plugging me earlier, and I like pointed because you plugged me and then you stopped because you thought I wanted to say something, but hey,
hold on.
thanks, Will. Like I watch your face, and it's very expressive.
No, I'm good. I can go on to my spits and swallows.
Will, spit or swallow?
I'm going to spit the exact same thing that just swallowed. This is the introduction of the larger than life, Fast and the Furious bullshit moments. Jumping out of helicopters, riding motorcycles into churches and blowing them up. Like we went from a wholesome zombie movie to a goddamn Avengers flick from movie 1 to movie 2.
Yeah, for real. Like Homegirl was in a coma, and then all of a sudden she could do these, these moves. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they
I don't-
experimented on her.
She was infected with the T virus. That's why.
Yeah, but she
They
didn't
never
have
exper-
these hops. She didn't have these hops in the first movie.
Exactly.
Like they
because she
they
didn't
struggled to
have
get to the vent. They
T-virus.
struggled to get to the vent. When in this, if she had the abilities in the second one, she could just jump up.
But just you realize when she woke up naked in the beginning of the movie, that was after they gave her the T virus. She didn't have the T virus in the first movie. They hadn't infected her
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
yet.
Exactly. That's what I said.
All right, so I'll give you this, Will. Onto what Just was saying. It does not make sense to me. They never explain why Alice was experimented on in the way she was versus the way Matt comes back as Nemesis. And it seems like everything that they do in this movie was just to like set up a fucked up zombie Thunderdome for them to face off for some reason.
Oh,
But there's no,
that's
like-
literally what happened. That's what they say.
I
They
know,
say that.
but that's the thing is there's no explanation as to why. Like they acted as though they didn't want the T virus to get out, yet they're actively giving people the T virus and then dropping them into fucked up Thunderdome and just like testing out their abilities. And honestly, it felt like they didn't even have faith in Alice at first. Like she was just there as semi-enhanced to be something for Nemesis to kill. Like they put all their money on Nemesis. They gave him all the guns and the fun shit. They didn't give
Mhm.
Alice anything, right? And again, no explanation as to why. They just do things, and then we have no idea why they gave Alice the T virus. There was no reason to do that.
I mean, I get that. At least for Matt, he was already infected because of the liquor. So, like, that makes sense as to
Correct.
why they would experiment on him drastically. Like, put him in the Nemesis program, aka turn him into the giant fucking monster who's kind of badass. Like, it just, I mean, I get that. It doesn't make
no,
sense.
he looked cool. That suit looked cool. By the way, that suit, I think it weighed like 60 pounds. I think if I look,
I believe
up.
it.
And the actor could only be in like increments of like I think 4 to 6 hours, and then he had to like take it off
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That looked heavy as
because they got
fuck.
hot. It got hot in there.
Hot.
I'm just gonna be that guy. So my next swallow is boobs, because we got outside of Mila Jovovich, we got
Ow.
the zombie strippers with Mike
Oh,
Epps
yeah.
running motherfuckers over with the car.
LJ.
And like
He gets
technically the swallow was Mike Epps being in the movie and just being his character
LJ.
and running over
Uh-huh.
zombies. Love LJ, but
Yeah.
also zombie stripper boobs. And then he looks at zombie stripper boobs and crashes the car because
Because zombie boobs.
I would. So swallow.
I mean, LJ is one of the best things a part of in these movies. Hands
He-
fucking down.
He definitely was a comic relief to these movies, and like kind of like what Will said, like that's when you knew like all the stunts, and then having Mike Epps in here, that's when you knew we're like, oh, okay, the people that own the property for this are like,
Not
oh,
yet.
the first one made money, so let's just keep on making money, and just forget about everything else, and let's make an action movie. By the way, that role for LJ was meant for Snoop Dogg, but then he turned it down, and so then other people tried out, and Mike Epps got it.
Oh,
Really?
Mike Epps
Mhm.
fucking nailed it.
Hell yeah, dude. Allison, zombie boobs wouldn't necessarily be rotten right away. So, like, there is a scene, and Katie and I learned something a couple weeks ago. So, if a graveyard is outside of a church, then it's a graveyard. Anywhere else, it's a cemetery. So, they walk through the graveyard, and everyone comes back to life. Those already dead reanimated zombies would be rotten. But if you just got bit and you just became a zombie, you're not rotting yet. You're getting there, but you're not rotten yet.
It's fermented. It's fermented.
Ew. Ew. I don't like that.
Just spit or swallow.
Okay, so this is also a film thing. So I'm kind of like spitting that Resident Evil decided to copy the trait that was going on at this time, where they just follow bullets wherever they go. You know what I'm saying? Like The Matrix did it. A couple other movies did this before, where they had the slow motion of following the bullet going through something. Like it went through the zombies, it came from the gun, went through the zombies, and the whole special effects like that, just to show people that, oh, yo, we're high tech. So to me, that's kind of a swallow, you know. I mean, kind of a spit.
Okay. Fair.
Katie, spit or swallow.
I'm swallowing the other female badass we get in this movie, Jill Valentine.
Oh,
Come on. Like
later.
I'm relating a lot of the shit from these movies to the games. In the games, you don't get an Alice. You never play as an Alice because she's not a thing.
No.
They created Alice for these movies. Jill Valentine is your female badass from game one, kind of on throughout here and there. So her showing up and being the same actress that we found out, and I was wrong. It was the same actress. It's fine. I saw it after the fact. I like looked at her face.
Santa
really
Gilroy.
hard. Yeah.
Shout out.
And it was like an iconic outfit from the games. She's just a fucking badass cop who nobody would believe her when she was like, hey, zombies, aim for the head. Nobody fucking believed me. And she's dope as shit and deserved more than just the 2 times we see her in the franchise.
3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then she has a
Okay.
pretty good moment in one of the movies. I forgot which one. But
This movie, because I prefer my Jill as a brunette, not a blonde personally, but from the moment she walked into the police station, shot people in the head, and then suited up, I was hooked on Jill Valentine. I could have gave a shit about Alice. I was team Jill from go. So, and still am. Until she dyes her hair blonde.
for me, I was more of a Rain stan. Just like, you know what I'm saying? I just love
I fucking love Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, I
See?
know, right? Come on.
It's the Fast and the Furious aspect of it that's what it is.
Well, because
I mean, she
Yeah.
always plays a badass chick, right? In Avatar, she was a military chick that flew the helicopter, badass. And then,
She's what
of
Shayna
course, in
Baszler
Fast
wants
and
to be.
Furious, yeah, she is. And then in this movie, she was, right? I mean, I feel like, okay, not to go on a different train of thought here, but like, we all seen Aliens, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so do you
No.
remember the badass chick in Aliens? I feel that inspired a whole line of women. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Michelle Rodriguez like portrays that same character. Anyway, that's a side note. How are y'all doing?
I'm distracted by the conversation on fake breasts that's going on in the chat.
Dude, I know, like a football, that's really hard though.
To be fair, again, I think like the skin color changes a little bit, but I don't think any actual physical metamorphosis outside of you like wanting to eat people immediately happens to the body. So I think like if you had nice soft titties, whether they were fake or real, once you become a zombie, at least until you
still
start
have-
decomposing and rigor mortis sets in, you're still got nice soft jiggly zombie titties.
What happens to the areola though?
Oh my god.
Nothing happens. Why would anything happen to the areola?
I don't know. Does
Why
it
are
get
you-
darker?
What
or-
is even happening?
All right. Katie, spit or swallow.
That was mine.
Oh. Will,
Areolas?
spit or swallow.
Oh.
No, not Areola's Jill Valentine, Justin. Jesus
okay.
Christ.
Areola borealis.
The areolas in Apocalypse were Katie's. That's what I got out of the conversation. I also swallowed Mike Epps. Y'all motherfuckers are crazy. That dude got a rocket launcher.
Hey, motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
I swallowed Nemesis. Somebody who played the first 3 PlayStation games religiously. Nemesis was a badass. And I feel like the other reincarnations we got of him in the various movies and franchises and TV shows never played true to the video game quite as well as this one did.
Right.
This is the only one that looked completely unbeatable. You fucking thought Alice was going to die.
Yeah.
And she didn't. So I big swallow for Nemesis.
You know,
Big
that was
swallow.
one of the coolest. As someone who didn't play the video games, that was like one of the coolest things, one of the coolest reveals when that thing dropped. I remember just being like, holy shit, what the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm.
And it looked amazing.
It's like Bane from Batman, but leveled up.
It's like Bane from Batman, but on 4 different types of crack.
It's like Bane, but the original Iron Man suit. Remember the one from the cave?
Like if you put Bane in the Hulkbuster armor.
Yeah.
It's like Bane, but if he was a zombie.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah.
So the future movies really fuck this up for me, but
Oh yeah. Oh dude.
prisoner of the moment, I am swallowing Dr. Ashford and the story that they originally told us.
Hell
A
yeah.
man who developed a virus to help his daughter
Mm-hmm.
who had a disease that he also suffered from,
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep her from being wheelchair bound. Gets his shit stolen away from him, turned into a biological weapon, and then he's basically strong-armed by the company. So he creates the Red Queen in the image of his daughter to protect the virus so that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands and bad things don't happen. Fantastic story. And then they fuck it all up.
Yep.
And they change everything later. But for now, swallowing Dr. Ashford, because that was a really cool key part of this story that explained a lot of things that I really enjoyed. We got the interaction between Alice and his daughter throughout the movie.
Angie.
Yes, the movies are about COVID.
Yeah.
Well, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking when the first ones, when I was watching the first one, they were making the virus. I was like, this is basically how Johnson & Johnson made their vaccine.
Not Johnson & Johnson. Jesus.
They made it, and then somebody dropped it. Oh, god dang. It's only going to be good for a partial of the
Damn.
vaccine treatment.
Call her Johnson.
I also want to kind of spit like this is also the Michael.
Swallow.
Oh yeah. I also kind of want to spit the fact that this is also the Michael Bay takes over era where everyone wants to be like Michael Bay. And since this movie got a budget of 45 mil, they decided like, oh, let's enhance some things, right? So every time you see a gun taken out, there's a big whirly sound like, and every time like you hear a kick, there's like a like it's like, did we need these extra sounds?
Yes.
You know, I mean,
Yes,
45 million could have been spent on something else. But
No, Michael Bay is a genius. Michael Bay is a genius. He doesn't even read critic reviews. He just starts working on sequels.
I mean, a genius. I mean, asking a woman to be like, "Hey, let me play a character, watch this car. Let me see if you got the role or not." Yeah, I don't know if that's qualified as a genius, but
Megan Fox is the only thing in Transformers that gave me emotion. When Megan Fox cries, I cry every time.
We need all the sounds. I agree.
A pile of bones and
Megan
implants
Fox
is wild.
cries, I cry. No, I can't let
Every
him
time.
go, man. What he did to the turtles, I can't let that go. I'm sorry.
Not the turtles.
Well, he did fuck up the turtles. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
that's true.
He's got that milk money.
But I do love what he did for Bad Boys, though. So can't be mad at him all the time. Can't be
And
mad at
The
him all the
Rock.
time. And The Rock, come on.
Not
This-
Dwayne.
This is The Rock.
Katie, spit or swallow?
I'm swallowing the. I gotta figure out like how to explain this. So, not necessarily the helicopter crash itself because it's fucked up, but essentially where the helicopter crashes. It's the Arklay Mountains, and that's where the first game takes place. And
Okay.
that's for me. And our
Okay.
peoples, our homies who played the first game. That's the mansion. Obviously,
Right,
like you don't
right,
really
right.
like see the mansion, but the Arklay Mountains is where the helicopter crashes and everybody pieces out. And Alice is like dead because she saved Angie's life by that helicopter. By the way, poorly put together. Why was that piece
Exactly.
fucking like Jesus? So obviously it's going to come apart when an atomic fucking bomb goes off and you're near it and the things and yeah. So obviously shit's going to fall off and almost kill an innocent girl, but Alice is a homie and took one for the team.
Mm.
Which that whole thing just like pissed me off. I was mad. When I first time I watched movies, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like how's she gonna die? But
I am so upset you have not started watching Dragon Ball Z because after that, Alice wakes up in a fucking Saiyan or Frieza rejuvenation chamber. Like,
Mm-hmm. Naked.
yeah, she's in
well,
naked.
Vegeta was in it naked too. Goku
Yeah.
was in one naked. Like, that's
Mhm.
how you rejuvenate. You cannot rejuvenate with clothes on, just.
Oh, is that?
Well, I don't
is that
know.
the thing?
Like, wasn't like Boba Fett and Luke Skywalker in their like back of tanks? Weren't they? Did they have some clothes
Yeah,
on?
and if you remember, every time Boba Fett got out of the fucking tank, he was still all fucked up and limping, and he was not properly
So you
rejuvenated
say
because of the clothes.
the Capsule Corp rejuvenation tank is better than the one produced in
Yes.
Star Wars? Oh,
Yes.
damn.
Well, also think about when you get in Carbonite. Han Solo was in Carbonite. He was fully clothed. He came out weak and fucked up. Maybe if he was naked, the Carbonite wouldn't have had that same effect.
Exactly.
Science.
It is.
Let me
science.
call them. Let me see how they feel about this. Luke.
You're gonna call George
Will-
Lucas right now?
Did you just call George Lucas Luke?
Kathleen
Will
Kennedy.
spit or
Did you
swallow?
hear what they said about you?
I'm gonna gargle undecidedly. Something that Just was just kind of talking about the Michael Bay comment because I wrote down a story of practical effects versus special effects
Oh.
because they got a lot bigger budget in this movie and you can
Myself.
see it in a lot of the CGI, but also some of this shit didn't age very well.
That does happen.
The semi truck explosion that looks like an RC car. No,
Yep.
was that in this one? Was that in this one that looked like an RC car that blew up? That might be in Extinction, but you
think
really
that's
see it
Extinction.
here. But you see a lot of the practical effects used of making miniatures and scale dioramas and stuff, and they didn't age as well. You know what I mean? Like you can tell, okay, this is a good attempt. We'll hang it on the fridge for you.
This was also kind of like the birth of using CGI in movies because Blade 2 came out around this time, and I love Blade 2, but the CGI isn't what CGI is now, and you can tell in a lot of these early 2000s movies.
Oh yeah, because another special movie in our hearts came out around this time too, and that
Which
was
is?
Attack of the Clones. And remember, the CGI was so bad.
All right. I'm spitting the rescue of Alice at the end of the movie because, again, as much as I do love this movie and it is my favorite, logic doesn't dictate actions. They let Alice out. They're like, they activate the Alice program. They start asking her questions. She turns. She attacks everyone. America's Most Wanted. Jill, Oliveira, LJ just roll up into an Umbrella facility
Yeah.
unchecked as if these people don't know who the fuck the most wanted people by this company are. Like the security officers have not been briefed to not let these people in. They walk in, they collect Alice, and after, like, clearly Isaacs didn't have like a plan to let her go and leave, but now all of a sudden he's like, let them go. Like, you let them stroll in, pick her up, and then you let her leave. And I don't understand why, because every movie after this is Isaac's trying to get Alice back because he needs her. So why the fuck did you let her go in the first place?
I was gonna try and come up with a reason, and I don't think I can.
There's no reason.
I wrote this down in Extinction because it comes up later, because I said I spit letting Alice go in Apocalypse, but starting Project Alice anyways. Could we have avoided the next 4 movies if he had just fucking kept her and not let her go?
Yeah.
There were multiple
Could've.
points from this point on where you were like, if Alice had just not been let go, whatever fuck he was trying to accomplish by being like, let her go, start Project Alice anyways, we could have eliminated a whole lot of dead people if he had just not done that. His people and survivors and zombies, for that matter.
Before we transition to the next movie, does anyone have any other spits or swallows from this movie they want to bang out real quick? Go ahead, Jess.
This is the one. Okay, because I'm kind of getting confused on the endings of some of them. But this is the one where
I'll teach you how to take notes.
The telekinesis power kicks in.
That's at the end. Yes, at the very end.
So I do want to swallow how she kills a security guard basically through FaceTime. That's it. That's how I want to say it.
Through security cameras, but yeah.
That's all I wanted to say.
Katie, got anything else?
No.
Will?
No, I'm good.
All right. Resident Evil Extinction. See, this is where the franchise started going off the rails for me. This is where I was like, all right, now we've jumped the shark. I was still good at 2, but 2 also gave me Zombie Titties and Jill Valentine and Nemesis. So like I had pluses, right? Then we got to Extinction.
Hey.
Katie, spit or swallow?
I just want to know what everyone's beef with this fucking movie. Like, I don't think it was a bad.
The third one?
I don't think it was a bad.
You want me to answer? My very first spit is
please.
Introduction of clones, which is what ruins the rest of the franchise.
This is true. Yes.
This is where, because again, third movie, third opening scene with Naked Alice, but it's clones.
Mm-hmm.
Dead clone Alice's in a fucking gutter in the desert. And this is where we get clones. And for me, clones is where the movie went off the rails and the whole franchise
Facts.
fell apart because they said we need clones.
Facts.
And they made the entire franchise not about zombies, but about fucking cloning people.
Yes.
Yes,
And I will, for the record, say that clones, anything in movies and clones ruins the franchise. Okay, Star Wars.
You're gonna say Star Wars.
I'm sorry, Katie.
Sorry, Katie, to interrupt.
I had to answer your question, and it's clones. That's why the title of the show is Attack of the Clones, because fuck.
Because fuck. Let's see. I kind of liked the clones, but that's just me. Whatever. I'll go fuck myself. Anyways, I'm swallowing Claire Redfield.
Oh,
Ali
that's
Larder.
amazing. She's a great actress.
She's now Claire, not Clear, in fucking Final Destination, which is still a stupid fucking name, by the way.
They're Waters.
That's still
Her parents were
stupid.
hippies. Her parents were hippies.
I don't give a shit. Still stupid. Now she's Claire.
Redfield.
Claire Redfield. Again, important person in the games. And I love that. And Ali Larder's a fucking phenomenal. She's badass. She's strong. She shows emotion when she needs to. She's a great leader to the convoy. She communicates with everybody. And then all hell breaks loose, but that's not really her fault. Like, she's doing her best. And I don't know. I just love when Alice can play off of another strong female in the movies. She had it with Jill in Apocalypse. She has it with Claire in Extinction. It works. Because it's not just like Alice is the only female badass we have in this franchise. Everyone else is just, they're weak women and they kind of can fight. No. Claire is like an equal, much as like Jill was in the past movie.
I'm never gonna spit Ali Larder. So
right.
I'm with you on that. Will, spit or swallow?
I'm gonna gargle the fact that in 5 years, pretty much between Apocalypse and Extinction, the world was completely wiped out and do some fucking like Mad Max type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Another huge thing for zombie movies, man. They're one of my favorite genres. Like even zombie movies that are written like with decades in between don't have this kind of damage done to the world in
Right,
5 years. Like
Oh, they were dropping bombs to kill the zombies, and it wasn't working apparently.
Clearly.
I have a podcast network named after a video game that takes place in post-apocalyptic world that is
Facts.
specifically placed around nuclear warheads. Like I've seen some shit. Like it looked like Mad Max. Like we went
Yes.
from it went from one very in film, you talk about color palettes. It went from one very distinct color palette to another with this movie. It was totally different than the previous two movies. They also shot the entire thing during the day, which is unique for a horror movie. That almost the entire movie is during daylight. So, yeah, I'm going to gargle undecidedly the fact that they wiped as much of the earth off as they did in 5 years.
I mean, to be fair, they did go post-apocalyptic tropes, right? And we got the post-apocalyptic cannibal trope. Not a fan, Katie?
No, I literally put family radio station, Texas Chainsaw vibes.
Well,
Yeah.
what I don't understand is if like the world's infected, right? Like they said that the virus spread. Why the fuck are you going to eat people that like? That's how you get zombie AIDS. Like
Yes. Among other things, yeah.
among other things, yeah. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. That
Like,
family pissed
like
the
they
fuck
ate
off.
somebody. Oh shit, I got tuberculosis now. Probably shouldn't have ate that guy.
They suck.
Will, I put this one in specifically for us. It plays off yours. I'm spitting even worse than the oceans drying up and the plants dying and the world becoming a desert. They ran out of cigarettes and weed. And I do not want to live in a post-apocalyptic world where we are out of cigarettes and weed.
Nice.
I can agree to that. 100%.
Are you okay, Katie?
Jesus.
Just spit or swallow.
So okay, so a couple things here. So I'm going to spit that this movie was not screened for the critics when it first came out. Just because off the second movie kind of doing not what they thought, they decided not to screen this for the critics. But the other thing too, I also kind of spit too is that Mila didn't want to come back for this one just because of the performance of the second one, but a certain someone that she was dating wrote this one. So I guess she kind of felt obligated to come back anyway, just because the script made it seem like this was going to be Mad Max and Birds together.
I mean, she came 3 more times, so
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So like for me, those are my spits though. What I will swallow though is that Ashanti is in this.
yes.
Nurse Betty.
But that's a spit for me because they introduced her and then they killed her.
Yeah, I know.
It's LJ's fault. I'm blaming it on LJ.
And that's a spit too because they killed LJ.
They did.
One of the best parts of 2.
Well,
And
then
they
the other
offed him in the 3rd movie.
yup.
He shouldn't have got bit.
He thought it was
Who got offed?
He shot the mirror.
LJ got offed.
He shot the mirror.
And then he still, like, knowing he got bit, he still went for that booty call with Betty.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fucked up, LJ. That's fucked
And he
up.
could have been the one to sacrifice himself on the bus, but no. Betty did.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
Also,
Katie's-
not to interrupt,
Go.
but also another spit is that the editorial sequence, right? He gets bit, right? He gets bit on his chest area, and then when he pulls the shirt off, there's no bit mark. It's just totally clean. I know it's a small detail, but
Terrible puns. Technically, though, since we are spitting and swallowing, Betty did get swallowed. So there's that.
Bazinga.
Katie, spit or swallow.
I'm gargling Albert Wesker being introduced in this movie.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
It's more so a gargle because I don't like this actor playing Albert Wesker.
Oh, okay.
The Wesker in the later movies, fucking perfect 10 out of 10. And we love him. This one just, I don't know. I wasn't getting like Albert Wesker vibes. Like I know it's him, but like
He had no
it just doesn't hit.
gravitas. No gravitas.
It was the voice. Like the voice was like kind of there, but wasn't there. So it was like kind of pissing me off a little bit.
Mm.
And he's a little bitch in this movie. Like he doesn't really do anything. He's just like a hologram the whole time. Like,
Yeah,
that's not fun.
they had a whole Zoom call.
Yeah. They were hanging out on Zoom. But like, I don't know, like it's cool because Wesker, again, biggest part like of the games, and he's like it's everything like that. And what he becomes in the later movies is a time. But this one just wasn't his full potential yet. And I get it, you're just introducing him in this movie, but I wanted more. Like I wanted a little bit more from this movie for him.
All right. I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon, and this is gonna save us a lot of time down the road. Not just Wesker, but Wesker Isaacs, their relationship and everything that goes on from here on forward, because none of it makes sense. So Wesker is running Umbrella, and Isaacs works for him, and Isaacs is trying to domesticate zombies and needs Alice back because he let her go and blah blah blah. But then also later on, fucking Wesker is working for Isaacs, but not the real Isaacs. And again, fucking clones, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know, like, Wesker becomes the big bad, but then he's not the big bad. And like the whole hierarchy of how Umbrella works never makes sense until the last movie, where they basically just scrapped everything that happened everywhere else for the last 5 movies and just restarted to end it.
That's why. That's why it doesn't make sense everywhere else. I think that was their plan in the long run.
Because like Wesker's like, don't send people after Alice, and Isaacs is like, no, I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm gonna send people after Alice, which leads to him getting bit by his enhanced zombie. Like, would this be 28 days later? Was the Rage? Was that Rage virus?
Yeah.
Correct.
So like this zombie kind of had that thing going on where like he was cool until he got angry, and then once he got angry, shit hit the fan.
Because he could put the block in the right thing.
I was just gonna say that. You had this dude playing child games, man. He took a photo and everyone was like, oh, and then like
They're like,
he
hold
takes
up.
the blocks, he puts the wrong thing, and he gets upset. And by the way, those
He's
chains
pissed.
can never hold him. Those chains can never hold him. I mean, he
No.
came through those things like it's like
Real quick.
Sloth. Remember in Goonies? That's basically what that's like. Baby Ruth.
Stop. I fucking love that movie.
I love that movie too.
Will Spit or Swallow?
I'm gonna swallow Super Mutant Dr. Isaacs. I thought it was kind of cool that he came the big boss at the end of the movie. The everything his story arc, I was kind of what you were saying about him and Wesker's, but I have written down Isaacs decides to use super zombies, but Alice uses her new powers to break a satellite that was controlling her. So it would be like AI realizing that they were being manipulated, so they shut their programming. Like,
So Megan.
this movie got fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were points I was like, I always say, like, the worst thing a wrestling promoter could do is make their fans ask why. And this was one of those moments where I was like, if they were using this satellite to control her, why did they let her use the powers they were giving her to destroy the satellite that was controlling her?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
There's
that's
a
a
lot of
pretty
why in
big.
this franchise.
That's a lot of plot holes.
Going forward,
Whole
there's
franchise's
a lot of fucking
plot
why.
holes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
And that's okay.
when you have the same two directors, that's
Well.
fantastic. But when you have a cast of like 40 different writers, the inconsistencies that start showing up because everybody wants their circle. It's like you take 4 writers and you put them in a room and they piss in a circle and then they argue over where it overlaps.
Mm-hmm.
Now you multiply that by 6 movies with 10 different writers for every movie trying to piss about which parts of the movie they want to have control over. And I feel like that's why you start seeing these glaring plot holes.
Mm-hmm.
That aside, on the note of Alice's powers, Alice's zombie crow roast was really cool.
Oh my god, it was phenomenal.
She looked like when she was the
Visually.
airbender, the firebender.
Yeah,
She was
She was the Avatar.
Yeah.
She manipulated. So okay, that's the part that I kind of was like crazy about, right? Like she manipulated the fire, she burned the crows, right? But then when the first scene when they got that crate with all the zombies in it, she couldn't use her powers to predict how many zombies were in there. Come on, man. You know, like. But
Well, she
yet
had no
you can
fire
do
to
all these
whip at
things.
'em. And
Didn't have
again,
fire.
what Will said, they were using a satellite to control her, so she got all locked up and shit. Like,
Oh, glitchy. She had some
froze.
glitches. She had some
Yeah.
glitches.
Yeah, she had some glitches, like Vanellope.
Jesus.
My last
Shout out.
spit
Shout
for
out.
this is again back to my first spit. Alice being introduced to the Alice Clone Army and the beginning of the Clone Wars.
Yup.
What, Katie?
What, Justin?
Do you want to hear my name for the Alice Clone Soldiers?
Yes.
Yes.
It's Alice, kind of like a Millie, but
Well, if you guys enjoyed that pun, I ask that you guys go check us out at patreon.com/creation world, where we are full of puns over there because we've got 3 shows for $1. You got Return to Wrestling with me and Travis, where we talk old school WCW. We recently recorded Bash at the Beach 1998, Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman in the main event. Karl Malone with DDP, Dennis Rodman with Hulk Hogan. Also, for that same dollar, you get If You Have to Ask with me and my wife, Kate. Episode is called Delusional Douchebags. It features Miss Katie Kinsey Bay. And you get Multiverse with Travis and Mara, where they break down animated DC films. And here's the thing, you get the entire catalog that we have done for that $1 a month. And if you subscribe now, not only can you watch the latest episode, which is fairly brand new within the last week or so, but you'll also be set up for the episode we drop at the end of the month. So you'll still get that before your subscription expires, and you'll be able to check that out. And everything we've done, it's only 4 episodes for If You Have to Ask so far, but a full back catalog of Multiverse, a full back catalog of Return to Wrestling from 1995 at the first Nitro all the way up to where we are in 1998. And if you want to watch this show ad-free, you guys can click that link, go check out what else we have to offer, including ad-free shows, these shows, ad-free. But Travis is here to rain on our parade if you don't like ads, but we got great sponsors. Like, for real, we do. You guys should support our sponsors. You guys should check out the sponsors and take advantage of them, especially because our sponsor today is very apropos for what we are talking about, T-Virus and everything related. So, Travis, please tell them about our sponsor.
Y'all, I know we're having a lot of fun right now, but I actually want to talk to you about something very important: your health. You see, life is full of twists and turns, and that's why having the right health insurance matters. I want to make sure you have the coverage you need without breaking the bank, and that starts with speaking to me for absolutely no charge. Having health insurance isn't just about doctor visits, though. It's about living a healthier, happier life. Physical health and mental well-being go hand in hand, and that's why the plans I represent cover not just the physical, but the mental aspects of your health as well. And here's the deal: I'm very good at what I do. So not only can I find you the perfect plan, but I might even be able to get you one for free. That's right, free advice and a free plan. Your health is too important to compromise. So let's chat, find the right plan, and ensure your well-being. Just visit health.creationworld.com today to schedule a free consultation. The link is right here in the description. That's health.creationworld.com. Your health, your future.
Justice is going to be back shortly. We are on Resident Evil Afterlife 2010. So we've got about 2 or 3 years between every movie, right? Like roughly 2 or 3 years until we get to the last movie. Well, why don't you start us off? Spit or swallow?
Undecidedly. I'm
Gargling
going to gargle
undecidedly.
undecidedly. Okay. I want to swallow the fact they have this attempt to make Alice appear human. Okay. But they give amnesia or try to take away like her memories for someone who has spent the last 3 years relearning and regaining all of her memories because she had amnesia in the first movie. So it's like, again, the inconsistencies because she's already had amnesia once.
I'm with you, but let's talk specifically about the fact that Alice literally just got her psychic abilities, and then immediately in the next movie, they took the abilities away and made her human again.
You've obviously
Like-
never played The Legends of Zelda.
I have not, and you know
Because
that.
they will
I've
gladly
only
give
played
you
Hyrule
powers.
Warriors.
They will gladly give you powers and then take them away at the very next temple.
But my thing is, like, the entire narrative up till now is we've been looking for a cure, right?
Mhm.
Which, again, by the final movie drives me insane that that's a narrative. But if you can inject Alice with something that takes away her abilities from the T virus, is that not a cure for the T virus? So you had a cure and you used it on her instead of the world? Like,
Umbrella's dumb.
Multiple times throughout the entire series up until this point, everybody who claims they want a cure has had access to Alice multiple times, and none of them have thought about the fact that they have the cure, but they all keep fumbling the bag every time they have it.
well, I mean,
Yes.
she's not immune. She just bonded with it better than anyone else has. So you're not really curing people. You're just taking their T virus and giving them all psychic powers and making them not turn into zombies, which I've never understood. If Alice got bit by somebody with the T virus, would she turn into a zombie? Would we
I
get
don't know.
zombie Alice?
What you're describing, though, in all funny, in all seriousness, playing off what Jeff said, you just described how a vaccine works. They give you the
Right.
virus, and your body joins with it, and they make it work. You
Right, but
just
she's the
described
only one who has
vaccine.
properly done it, right? Nobody, everyone else that's been given the virus turns into zombies.
They
So
mutate,
they have
yeah.
to study her, and generally that comes with the immunity to something, not just you don't study people that have properly bonded with COVID. You look for somebody who has an immunity to it to try and find an antidote to the virus. I guess I don't know. But I'm with you, Will. Again, 3 has started going off the rails. Afterlife went way is Afterlife also the 3D one? I
Yep.
think?
This is the 3D
Yeah.
IMAX version of Resident Evil.
I've been
Which
very negative. Sorry, go ahead, Jess.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I've been very negative, so I'm gonna focus on some positives here, some things I liked about this. But I know what one of Katie's is, and it's been her thing for the last 3 movies, so I'm not gonna steal that one. Swallow the fact that we find out that Arcadia is a ship, and no, we don't all have to move to fucking Alaska to live. Because if you know me, Alaska is my nightmare. I hate the cold. I hate the winter. I have no desire for 30 days of night in any way, shape, or form, and all of that bullshit. And the idea that when I heard the only way to survive is we all need to move to Alaska, I was like, fuck it, let me get eaten now. Like, I'll just be a zombie and live in the desert.
Terrible.
So when we found out that Arcadia is a ship and I don't have to fucking live in Alaska, I was like, all right, cool. I'm down with that.
You said say less. I'm in.
Say less. Katie, spit or swallow.
So what I think you almost said, but you wanted me to say, I'm swallowing Wentworth Miller as Chris Renfield. Let's go. Listen.
Oh.
A, he's perfect as Chris. B, Chris is one of the best characters in the fucking game, specifically Resi 8, because he's just fucking awesome. And like he's military trained, and they kept him in solitary because when all hell breaks fucking loose in the world and the prison, because they're in this massive ass prison, by the way. It's so
Mhm.
big. It's insane. But it's also LA, so like I guess that makes sense. I don't know. But he gets, they think he's one of the guards, so they like throw him in solitary, and then he's just down there while these survivors are chilling. So
Right.
like that's kind of fucked up. You get the realization that that's Claire's brother, and she's like, I don't fucking know you, because a reason that if no one else says it, I know what Matt's gonna swallow. Next, a certain thing right here. But
Well, I think that's what Will was alluding to, because they didn't try and take Alice's memory. They wiped Claire's memory and everyone that got the titty bugs.
the titty bugs, yes,
Yes.
the spider titties,
Uh,
titty spiders,
Titty spiders, titty bugs,
titty spiders.
pro titty bugs.
Yes,
Pro titty
But all-
bugs.
but all things Chris Redfield, I love him so
Captain
much.
Cold. Just spit or swallow.
So I'm gonna have to go with another spit again, and because we had mentioned that this is a 3D IMAX movie, and this is the era of 3D IMAX movies because Avatar had came out at that time, so everyone's like, "Oh, let's also do a 3D IMAX movie as well," right? It's like there was a slew of unnecessary 3D IMAX movies, and this
Saw.
was in one of them. Oh, dude, yeah, there's so many. Like, and the fact that they try to go with that trope, like, kind of, I mean, the movie was already dead to begin with, but they kind of like already ruined the movie. Like, there's so much slow mo that this movie could have been done in like 30 minutes, but we had to go longer because of the slow mo, right? And because I was confused, because like like what Will was saying before, like how the third one started out and it spent the whole time in daylight and it was in desert, right? Then you go to this movie and it's in the rain. And you're like, what the hell am I watching here? This seems like a Herbal Essence commercial. Then you realize, oh shit, yeah, it's 3D. There's a reason why they're doing this, And so to me, that's kind of a spit. Because like, in the game, they never really went this route, you know what I'm saying? So like that's kind of the reason why I spit it too.
All right. Will, spit or swallow?
I'm gonna swallow the Axeman, hacking old boy clean in half. My favorite death in the movie, maybe my favorite death in the back half of the series, but like, I don't do 3D movies because I can't, because of my glasses and astigmatism and all the other fucked up things about the way my eyes work. So I never do them. But understanding that this movie was originally in 3D, like, fuck yeah, that would have been cool as shit had that been able to work.
So I thought we were going to be on the same page here, Will, because you said something earlier in the show that came to this point and I'm like, all right, I'm on Team Will with this, right?
Yeah.
I have what the fuck how did the T-Virus make Axemen? Where did the Axemen come from?
He's a bioweapon. They just created him.
I argued the
Again.
evolution of zombies in the first movie, and you said they had experiments for those, Will.
But they told us that. They had pods and they told us that. All of a sudden, there's just a fucking 12-foot tall pyramid head ripoff with an axe strutting around the city with no explanation of where he came from or what he did. And then on top of that, to your point, we also have the evolution of what do they call them in this? They're the Magini undead, the tentacle
the Magini,
zombies,
yeah.
with like
yeah.
no explanation of the evolution of the zombies. Why all of a sudden they've got octopus for tongues? Like,
Ow, what? They look like a
that
Demogorgon.
they give great head.
Yes.
Hey, now. I heard that.
So when we got here, Will, I was with you on. That's what I'm saying. Like, at least they explained, hey, there are pods. We were experimenting on shit that got released, right? But then we get here, and there's no like Wesker doesn't release the Axemen or even like nothing, right? It's just 7-foot tall dudes with spikes shoved into their shoulders and giant axes walking around, and we have no explanation of where they came from or what they are. All of the zombies now have fucking 4 tongues with fucking suction cups on them, and we have no explanation for how the virus evolved. There's no discussion that the virus is evolving. It's just a thing now.
If in the first movie they had taken their time with the evolution of the zombies, because between now, the first movie and Afterlife, you're looking at the better part of a decade. The T virus could have evolved in 10 years. The T virus being exposed and us getting the slew of zombies we got in the first movie was my argument. Like,
Right.
to me, the Axeman by this point made sense because 10 years into the series, like 10 years into the story, they could have evolved to being an Axeman. But in the first movie, the T virus is exposed and we had just got all of them. It was like the ooze from the Ninja Turtles hit everybody at once. We got Bebop, Rocksteady, the Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles, Splinter,
Genghis
Shredder. Like, we
Frog.
got all the
Right.
characters in one movie. And then so like they blew their load in one shot versus trickling out. It's like what's the one? Pablo, no, we just
Pablo
watched it on
Escobar?
HBO. No, we just watched it on HBO, Matt. Last of Us.
Yes.
Pedro
It's
Pascal.
like that. Like that show explained that the evolution of the spores caused that they had different effects on different people. That's where the clickers and stuff came from. They didn't do that with this. You know what I mean? The T virus hit, and all of a sudden, boom, we've got zombie dogs and lickers, and we've got Axemen, and we've got octopus mouths. Like,
Demogorgon.
yeah, there was no explanation of the evolution of these zombies.
Okay. Yep.
It just
I'm with
boom,
you.
T virus, and we just get you're a zombie, and
I
you're
just-
a zombie, and you're a zombie.
I just let the liquor slide because like they were clearly created in the basement. So like
Yeah.
I was there. But the rest of it I'm with you, and more so here than ever am I with you because fucking Christ. Like
But he's fucking cool though, right?
he is. I saw the look on your face when I called him a rip-off Pyramid Head from Silent
okay.
Hill.
To be fair, I did put Monster with Giant Hammer and then Silent Hill. So like
Yeah.
it's there. It's a
That's
thing.
exactly
They're very
how I feel.
similar. So like I was just like, damn, but true.
I'm also going to hurt your feelings here. I know I said I was going to stay. You know what? I will stay positive. I am swallowing the fact that Star Wars met the Purge at the beginning of this movie. The Attack of the Clones was purged with a purge bomb. And now there's just one Alice left.
Yep.
Well, not really. But
But yeah. Mhm.
this movie, there's
Yes.
one Alice left. All her clones are dead. At the beginning of every Resident Evil movie is taking something that they established at the end of the last movie and then completely erasing it for the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We gave Alice powers, we erased it. We gave Alice clones, we erased it. Like,
Yeah. That's fair.
but yeah, no, I was not a fan of the Alice clone army. I didn't see it working out, and then immediately they're just like, yeah, you know what? Matt's right, and gone. So cool. Katie, spit or swallow.
I liked the Alice Army fight in the beginning, but
I know you did. I know you're about the clones. You're all
I
about the Clone Wars.
that's a different series.
That's
we
on the
talked-
Havoc Hour. That's on the Havoc
That's
Hour.
on the that's on the Havoc Hour. Here we go. What was I gonna say? Fuck.
You like the X-Men, right?
Oh yeah. Wesker, new Wesker,
Oh, dude, this Wesker,
Daddy Wesker.
this Wesker.
This guy is my Wesker. The voice, the mannerisms, him becoming the big bad in this one, and becoming a Demogorgon in the end. And shut up! Don't make that face. Let me talk. Just let me have this. Just let me have this. You guys don't like these movies for a multitude of reasons, and that's fair.
I like the first two a lot.
Only the first one.
I know. I know. But I don't look at them like how you guys are. Like, yeah, there are a lot of plot points, and I have a lot of issues with the last movie. That is fact. But a lot of the stuff I don't necessarily care about because I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
We got it. We got it.
It's
No,
it's
I
like
understand that.
wrestling.
No, that's
People,
okay.
What you just explained is also the same reason why we don't like the same wrestling.
that's true.
Deep, man. That's deep.
No, as a horror fan, I get what you're saying. Like objectively, movies like Freddy vs. Jason and Jason X are terrible, but I love them. There are a lot of plot points, but they're fucking fun to watch. Same thing with, as has been talked about, the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Yeah.
They launched the car into fucking space, but it was fun. Yes,
Yeah.
Jess.
With those movies said though, Freddy versus Jason, there already was like a whole discography of like why these two are fighting, and they did kind of explain it in that movie, which they don't do here.
Oh,
They don't explain anything, you know.
They explain that Jason is afraid of water, even though he's not afraid of water, because in all of the movies prior to Freddy versus Jason, he's literally hanging out in the lake doing shit,
Just
and
like
walking
living
out of the
there.
lake,
Yeah.
and living in
He
the
wasn't.
lake.
He,
But now
he
all of a sudden
wasn't.
he's scared of water.
He was an experimented scientist.
So
And then in fact,
I'm
and
gonna
then
let
in
you
Fast and
have.
Furious, they explain it too. But go ahead. Kind of like
I'm gonna let Katie have the
It's so
fact,
fun,
the,
though.
the character of Wesker, right? But I need you to explain some shit to me. I'm not gonna spit it. I was going to spit it. It's what I stopped. I need you to explain something to me because I'm very confused. I need to know why Wesker decided to give himself the virus, which turned him into Agent Smith from the Matrix with an
Yes,
octopus
dude.
tongue.
yes,
That's why.
yes.
Because why
He
not?
wanted to eat pussy better, so he's like, let me get this octopus tongue. Like, why infect himself? Again, it just
He couldn't reach the G spot naturally, so he's like, "Let me go T-virus."
Oh my god.
I don't like, is he invincible? Because she tried to kill him like 4 times. She blew him up with a purge bomb that
Dude.
killed all of her clones and shit. And dude just again survives everything. Nothing kills this man.
Well, it very well could be like Dr. Isaacs, where because he injected himself with the T virus, but it was, I don't know if mutated is the right word, but like enhanced because of Alice. Because, like, you know, when they were experimenting on her and then, like, they kind of changed the T virus to try and stop it or do whatever the fuck Umbrella was doing because Umbrella is ridiculous. It very well could have been that same thing because he didn't turn into a normal zombie. He became whatever the fuck abomination he was in the end of 2, 3, whatever movie. Like, I think that's like the same thing. I think that's why Wesker doesn't die, because at this point the T virus is so different than what it originally started as because they keep fucking with it. I think that's why.
And I would have liked to see them continue to fuck with it. Like, I would have liked that in the movies. Because, like, we're going to talk about the Las Plagas virus, right?
Yes.
And they admit that it's a thing and it exists and it makes you invincible. But, like, we don't discuss the Magini strain that they released upon the world. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, if you want me to understand what the fuck's going on in these movies, I'm one of those people that tell, like, even in wrestling, I'm like, don't make me sit. Will said it. Don't make me ask why. Fucking tell me what's going on. And as cool as Daddy Wesker is, I'm like, I don't understand why you would inject yourself with the virus and turn yourself into this thing. He's also like mind controlling dogs and shit. So, like, apparently giving himself the virus gave him the ability to domesticate the dogs that Dr. Isaacs couldn't domesticate the people somehow. Like, very confused about a lot of shit.
Because Dr. Isaacs sucks and Wesker's hot.
Okay. We got anything else for
in this franchise?
we got anything else for Resident Evil Afterlife?
Yeah, I did. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Will.
I've got one more spit.
Okay, Will, spit or swallow.
Spitting the fact this real quick, the fact that Alice was comfortably able to kill everyone in this movie except for Wesker, and she willingly let this man walk out. Like how many, and I'll bring it up, I will say it in every one of the movies, that there is one point in this movie where if somebody had done something differently, the whole movie would have been different. And that was it. Her letting Wesker leave was like, we could have eliminated the need for the next 2 movies.
I mean, she didn't let. I mean, she let him leave, but like she set a purge bomb off in his plane. That's why she let him leave, because it wiped out an entire city. It killed all of her clone friends. I guess you assume it should kill Wesker.
It seems really ineffective when you've got him within arm's reach to be like, no, player, go get in the plane and I'll hope the technology works.
Fair.
Well, I mean, she also doesn't. She thinks that he's dead because she shot him in the fucking face with a shotgun, and then Claire and Chris just unload a whole clip into him, and then they walk out and go save everybody. Like, they closed the doors. She didn't know. And then she had a feeling, an inkling, because she's smart. She put it in there just in case. Like, she didn't actually know if he would get in the plane or not. It was a backup plan, safety plan.
Double tap. It's basic
Basically.
zombie 101. There's no need to put a bomb in the plane if you double tap and you make sure the motherfucker's dead before the plane takes off.
They did more than a double tap, but she didn't know how that situation was going to play out.
Who the fuck is this guy? 50 Cent?
Yeah, exactly. Wesker is 50 Cent of the Resident Evil movies.
Well, I mean, the fact that he was in a helicopter and survived, he's kind of Ric Flair.
Huh?
Justin, did you have something else?
Yes, I do. I had a couple things I want to add on here. So, like the one thing so these are all swallows, by the way. The one thing I will swallow is freaking Wesker dodging that shit like he's Neo, like he was dodging the bullets, and they had the special effects try to do it. It was so silly. It was like, it's like, dude, come on. You know, the other thing too, I also want to say is that like we talked about before, like the ultimate cheat code in these movies is a vent, right? If they need somewhere to escape, there's a vent right there, right? In Arcadia, there's a vent, right? In all these places, there's a vent. Like it's the ultimate cheat code and escape. I also giving a
Everything has
to,
vents though.
yeah, but I mean everything.
I can't fit in them, but everything has vents.
True.
I'm fucked in a zombie apocalypse. I cannot fit in vents.
Well, in case you had the other cheat code where you just find a bomb laying around, because that's what happens in all these movies. There's always a bomb somewhere, you know.
And helicopters. Tons of aircraft just everywhere. And everybody knows how to fly.
Dude. And then the other thing too, I also want to swallow is like when Alice, right? She's on the top, and then she zip lines down like she's fucking HBK and shit, starts shooting people at the same time, which is pretty fucking cool, right? And she has their revolvers, right? And this is the slow motion part, because this is the best part where they use the IMX 3D, is that when she's shooting with the revolvers, then she tosses it and she grabs the double barrel, right, guns, and she blows dudes up with the fucking quarters as bullets.
Yes.
I mean, talk about making sense, right?
No, here's the thing. The innovation, because of the lack of ammo, I appreciate. It's the only thing that I like from the very last movie, which we'll get to when we get there, is like the fact that, yes, eventually people stop making bullets and all the bullets are spent and it's hard to find bullets. So you have to find other ways to kill these zombies that make sense. And I don't know if you can load quarters up into a sawed-off double-barrel shotgun and fire them like that, but it looked really cool.
It did.
When she did do it.
It did.
So,
yeah, and I could imagine that on 3D with watching it that way. It probably look cool too. You know. Also, Wexler throwing Claire and Chris into their own pods simultaneously by doing a front flip is also pretty amazing.
He's Neo. You said it. He's the one.
I mean, but the accurate toss to throw two human beings into their own pod. Bad champion.
He's got 4 tongues and he controls zombie dogs. I think his perfect accuracy is the last thing that in the weird idiosyncrasies that is Wesker in this movie that I am questioning.
You think he's got a scanner like Vegeta in his glasses?
Possibly. It's the Red Queen just talking to him.
Oh, that's right.
Like a really fucked up version of Jarvis.
Oh, that's a good one. But that's it.
My last spit is the fact that we got introduced to Luther. We do all of this cool shit in the prison, which was a fun part of the movie. The whole prison escape thing was great. And they just abandon Luther in the sewer. And then as the movie ends and Hell and Tittybug Jill with her blonde hair are raining fire down upon what was supposed to be the last haven of humanity, the Arcadia, that was a fucking ship controlled by Umbrella that they then freed. Like, we found fucking Kmart. We haven't even talked about Kmart.
Yeah,
Kmart was alive. We got rid of her Tittybug and all of the survivors, and we're like, the Arcadia is real. And then here comes Tittybug Jill, and Luther's just got to stand in a fucking storm drain and watch everything go to shit. And who the fuck saves him for the next movie? Who went and got Luther? Who did Luther talk to get him the fuck out of that storm drain?
Probably Leon.
How?
I don't know. Just makes sense. Makes sense to me.
All right.
A vent. I'm telling you, there's a vent.
That's a storm drain. That's different.
Resident Evil Retribution 2012. Will spit or swallow?
I spit the Red Queen coming back after Alice Control-Alt-deleted that bitch in the first movie. She's an AI program that you shut down and deleted. Where the fuck did she come back from?
Thanks.
Well, they shut her down, but then they reinstated her, and then she helped them escape the hive as long as they killed whoever.
Rain.
So she was, yeah, as long as they killed Rain. Like, she was still good at the end of that movie. I don't know why she let them open the fucking hive to begin with. Like, she doesn't have protocols to prevent that shit, but they didn't delete her. They disabled her because she was homicidal.
Yeah.
And they re-enabled her because they got themselves locked in a building and they needed to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Do I have anything about
What up?
Because it's not here, right? That they haven't changed the origin of the Red Queen yet, right?
No.
That's the next movie. All right.
Mhm.
Happy Sunday, fams. Oh, what's up, Ivan? Thanks for
Ivan.
coming through. All right. Swallowing the return of Naked Alice, because we did not get Naked Alice in 4. We did not. But we got Naked Alice here. Naked Alice returns.
Stupid.
It's the best part of the franchise, Katie. Consistency matters.
It's the number one swallow for sure.
Naked Alice is the number one swallow.
Of course.
Katie, spit or swallow.
Well, Tommy's all for Naked Alice. I'm gargling because I don't necessarily know how I feel about it. Just because, so I'm gargling the Las Plagas virus because in the games it's in Mexico, in the movies it's in Moscow, and I don't understand why. That's
Okay.
that pisses me off just for game's
Hex.
sake, because it's like you could have just given it a different name if you were just going to make it a Russian virus. So I don't know. That part kind of irked me. They looked super fucking cool though.
Yeah.
It's like
So-
give them that.
Maybe it was developed in Mexico and then they gave so for those of you unaware, real quick, the clones are back, and apparently everyone is a fucking clone. Everyone is a clone of a clone. I don't even know if anyone in the original movie was not a clone. I'm
Right.
very confused as to what's going on by this point in the movie. But Rain is back, and she's a clone, and she gives herself the virus. So Umbrella's supplying the virus. Maybe it was developed in Mexico, and they gave it to Jill in case they needed it. Like, ship that shit FedEx. post-apocalyptic FedEx
Yeah. Well, I mean,
up to Moscow.
like they kind of explain it towards the beginning, like the arms race for nuclear weapons, bioweaponry. But like Mexico wasn't involved in that conversation, so like it's just a little, that's like a little pet peeve for me, just because Resi 4 takes place in like a little town in Mexico, and then you have the Las Plagas virus in Moscow, Russia. Weird.
Fair. I'm
good.
swallowing the fact that we got X-Men Danger Rooms.
Yeah.
So like, and like not AI bullshit X-Men Danger Rooms. Like they literally cloned a shit ton of people and then purposely infected the clones with zombies, the zombie virus, the T virus, so that they could like let a government sit down and be like, so China, if you really don't like Japan, this is what's going to happen. Just sit back and watch. Oh, Russia, you don't like Germany? Here, let's see what happens when you release the virus in Berlin. Vice versa. I don't know who they were selling New York to or Raccoon City for that matter, but like we had D-Day versions of a bunch of major cities and so that they could sell the T virus to the opposing faction. Whoever hates this country, all right, hey, highest bidder, you get this, and this is what's going to happen. Straight up D-Day rooms that they have to fight their way through to escape.
Yeah, the simulation,
including X-Men. Just bitter swallow.
Swallowing Ada Wong. I know she's a character from the game, so they brought her in here. And they actually the actress that plays Ada Wong, apparently I read that she could speak perfect English, but she had a thick accent, which I guess they thought it was an issue. So the person that dubbed her voice is actually the same person that played her in the game.
Makes
So
sense.
it worked out.
Nice.
Yeah. And so the also thing too was like I thought I was on drugs because like when I first watched this movie, I was like, whoa, they're supposed to be dead, but they're alive. Like, what's going on here? You know? And they're all like living like it's a TV rom-com type of thing. Like, oh, they're making breakfast, oh, they're driving here, and then all of a sudden shit happens. I was like, what happened now? And so that part of it is definitely a spit. But yeah, for me, those are the ones I'm going to say right now.
All right. Will, spit or swallow?
I spit the multiverse of no fucks given for story continuity. That's what my notes say. Some guys come back as good guys that were bad guys. Some bad guys come back that were good guys, but nobody was real in this movie.
Nobody was real in this movie.
Nobody was real.
Right.
And
Nobody.
the excuse
Not even Alice was real.
Well, for now, until the next movie, Alice is still real. She's still Alice Prime. The next movie will fuck all of that. The next movie fucks everything. But their excuse was they made a bunch of clones and they were blank slates, and then they gave them personalities. So, like, you get homemaker Alice in Raccoon City married to Olivero with a deaf child, and then you could have like Rain be a pacifist, but also like a military assailant, depending on the environment that they put him in. Blah 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 blah. So like blank slate clones that you could just upload a personality to and make them whatever you want. Good guys, bad guys, whatever. Katie, spit or swallow?
I brought it up. I'm gonna swallow Leon Kennedy making his appearance. Finally! I was waiting. When I first watched these movies, I was like, where the fuck is Leon? That's like the one person that I wanted in these movies. I finally got him in this movie. And only this movie, which also pisses me the fuck off because whatever. But Leon's like, he's that badass. He's got that little situationship with Ada, which I love. It's like they flirt, they like each other, but they're never going to do anything because they never do.
Because the T virus.
You know, because the T virus. That's the only reason. Just that. But no,
Sure.
Leon leading the charge to save Alice and Ada with Luther. Luther returns. I'm not happy with Luther's exit from the series in any way, shape, or form, because that shit was bullshit. But
him and Alice got hit with the same move. They showed the same Mortal Kombat X-ray fucking vision.
I was just about to say
And-
this. Yep.
And she had no powers at this point, but she lived and he died.
hmm Yep.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. But I also didn't understand a lot of things that were happening in that final showdown because Rain was infected with the Las Plagas. I don't know. It was a whole thing. Whatever.
My next spit is so apparently the Red Queen in this movie is running Umbrella, and because the Red Queen is in charge of Umbrella now, Wesker no longer wants to be part of Umbrella. So after spending the last 2 movies trying to kill Alice, he sends Ada to save Alice and bring her to the White House, where he has set up the last stages of humanity's fight against Umbrella and the zombies that are waging war, and gives Alice her powers back that he took away from her 2 movies ago. 1 movie ago, last movie, at the beginning of the last movie. So she had her powers and they took them away last movie. Now at the end of this movie, he gives them back to her because the Red Queen is the homicidal bitch who took over. I don't know who's in charge and who's running Umbrella or what the fuck's going on.
Right. Exactly. Confusion.
Just spit or swallow.
Okay, so I'm gonna swallow that. This movie tried to become like 4 or 3 movies in one movie, right? So you brought up the Mortal Kombat stuff, right? With them, every time they hit, they would show like, oh, the chest breaking or this, and that's because Paul W.S. Anderson directed the original Mortal Kombat movie, so that's why they tied it in here. There's a scene where where Alice is trying to rescue Becky in one of the cocoons that's straight up from Aliens. I mean, and then the scene
From
where,
the
like,
liquor, the liquor has the alien cocoons.
You're right, yeah, right. And so then they have that scene where they're driving the car, then they go through like an underground train station. That's straight up Fast and Furious right there. You know what I'm saying? And like it just like they're trying to do so much in this one movie. That was my swallow. The spit though, Jill Valentine, right? When they come out and they have like they're in the front yard and they have Jill Valentine and the soldiers and they start shooting, and the actress that plays Jill Valentine stands like an NPC like in the game. Like who stands like that to shoot somebody? It's like I understand that you were trying to go for the character, but damn, not like that though. But yeah, that's it for me.
I'm more upset that Jill got her titty bug taken away and then got her memory back immediately. And Claire took a whole like 12-hour plane ride to get her shit back before she even remembered who Alice was. But Alice ripped that titty bug off Jill, and Jill's like, Alice, here's your gun. We're friends. Remember that time with the nemesis? Like, what happened to the memory wipe? Like,
Right. True. It's the power of a titty.
All it has to be is entertaining, right?
There is that. Will, spit or swallow?
I'm gonna swallow using ice to kill Rain. Again, my favorite death in the movie. Rain is standing there. She's OP as fuck. Alice is like, oh shit, there's no way I'm doing this. So I'll just shoot the ice and then the swimming zombies will kill her. Like, that seemed like a pretty cool way to kill somebody.
Yeah.
So I'm swallowing that. That was my favorite death in this one.
Katie, spit or swallow? A chew, cough, sneeze, chart.
It was a cough. I mean everything. I don't really have anything else. So
I've got one more. Does any or just go ahead?
Yeah, so Will brought up that scene with Rain. So actually that was Mila Jovovich's idea to do that, to have her die in a swimming pool of zombies. Because before that, the script just had her, I think, like dying or drowning or something. But then she thought, what if there's like zombies swimming there? And that's how that scene happened.
And they're not Nazi zombies because they're from Moscow. They may have looked like Nazi zombies, but they weren't.
Oh my!
My last spit
I know,
is
right?
the whole beginning of the movie, the reverse slow motion destruction of the Arcadia, just playing the end of the movie backwards at the beginning of this movie, and the fact that they killed Kmart. The whole last movie was like, Alice was pretty much like, fuck everybody, I just need to save Kmart, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to go find Kmart. And if I find anyone else, cool. But Alice really, really liked Kmart. And she found her and she saved her. And we don't even like get a payoff. Like Kmart's just on the boat gets blown up, and Kmart's gone.
I mean, that's literally what happens to every other fucking character in the next movie, but
Oh, we're gonna talk about that too. Will, you got anything else for this movie, or we good to move on?
Swallowing President Wesker when they get to the White House, and Wesker's like, "Yo, low key, I'm kind of running shit." Like, I thought that was kind of cool. I spit, all the terrible shit he did, but like, for him to be kind of like low key surprised, motherfucker. Like, yeah, President Wesker.
All right, Katie, you have had to sit through us spitting and swallowing a franchise that you love. Now we've gotten to the point to where you can spit what you hate the most about this franchise. So I'm gonna let you kick it off. Katie, spit or swallow?
I mean, it's something we talked about in Apocalypse. We get this whole story of Dr. Ashford creating the T-virus to save Angie, and then Umbrella took it and then made it what it is. And now we get a whole new narrative of Dr. Marcus creating the T-virus to stop his daughter from aging rapidly, basically, is the gist of it. And Dr. Isaacs was there and killed Dr. Marcus and then became the guardian of Alicia. And it's so... I was perfectly okay with Dr. Ashford being the creator of the T-virus. I was fine. We had a story. It was cool. And then this movie basically just like hit reset on 99% of the franchise. Which is why I've only seen it now twice. Because I don't like this movie. Because there's a lot that's wrong with it and it's stupid. It's just, there are some things that are cool and here and there, but this is the main thing that pisses me off about it, because I had a whole story. I know who created it. I know what happened to the T-virus. And now, just kidding. It's a whole new story and more characters you have to learn. And yeah, I don't like that.
And the Red Queen is Alicia as a child, not Ashford's daughter as a child.
Yes.
And even though, go ahead.
I was gonna say, the only thing I like about that, the Red Queen, is the fact that it's actually Mila's daughter playing her.
Okay.
I do like that. It's Ever Anderson, so it's their kid playing young Alice or young Alicia and the Red Queen.
I'm with you though. They retconned everything, and that is a huge spit. Like we watched as like the Umbrella High Command was having fucking FaceTime meetings and shit, and they're like, we're running out of food and this and that and blah blah blah. But actually, no, the Umbrella High Command is in cryostasis underneath the hive in Raccoon City, which is the first thing that we blew up and destroyed in the franchise with the fucking purge bomb, but it's still there. The entire high command is there. Now the Red Queen is not running shit. Dr. Isaacs is really running shit. So we've gone from Wesker running shit to the Red Queen running shit to Isaacs running shit. And everything's a clone. The Dr. Isaacs that put himself in cryo sleep, like there's another clone of him running around, and nothing makes sense, right? Like
Mhm.
they retconned the whole movie, and instead of doing it in a way to kind of like consolidate and make things work, they made it even more fucked up.
Yeah. Like this is basically just like a standalone movie.
I'm spitting what you alluded to, the fact that outside of Claire Redfield, we had a team. We had Leon, we had Ada. I'm assuming Chris was still alive somewhere doing something, and we killed everyone but Claire right at the beginning of the movie. Wesker was really actually still working for Umbrella. He helped Alice escape Umbrella to kill Alice instead of letting her die in the facility for Umbrella by setting a trap and bringing her to the White House and giving her powers back. But I think they said that he didn't really give her powers back. So I don't know what the fuck that was about. Like, and then murdered everybody. I have no idea what the fuck happened. I'm so...
Well, also this movie has the biggest time jump between it. Like
5 years.
exactly, like making it. So that's also probably why a lot of shit got fucked up. Because the other ones were like 2 years or like 3 years and 5 years, and probably not having a super solid script or even an idea of a script fucked that up.
Will, spit or swallow?
I wrote down flaming zip lines, zombies getting burned by gasoline waterfalls. Very Fast and the Furious, but I'm here for it. Like, at this point, the inconsistencies were so wild that I wasn't expecting any real continuity with what they were doing. I was just expecting zombies and a lot of action, and I felt like overall you got that in this movie. You at this point, if you're watching the final chapter, you're not watching it because you want to watch a good zombie movie. You're watching it because you've painstakingly seen the other 6 movies to this point.
With that, something just talked about with the coins, we also got nail guns as weapons because we ran out of bullets. And that I enjoyed and thought was clever as shit. Was we are now using nail guns to still shoot zombies in the head because we had to be like, all right, by now there isn't a lot of bullets. What are we gonna do? Fucking nail guns. Genius.
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
Just spit or swallow.
So, okay, I don't have much from this movie because I was just exhausted and upset at this point because they just destroyed everything that I built to watch for a span of 2 days, and my brain was swelling. But I will say that this movie, when I was watching it, right? First of all, I don't. What's the name of the disease that the girl has? I don't know. I just called it reverse Benjamin Button.
Yeah, I don't
Right,
know.
that's what I call it. Or if you remember the movie Jack, the one that Robin Williams was in. where he was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's basically what she had, right? And I'm watching this movie just because, like, okay, I'm not gonna analyze this movie anymore because they just totally destroyed everything that I just watched for like the past 48 hours. But I will say is that this movie kind of resembles Jurassic World, right? So they retold the 2 doctors, right? If you've seen Jurassic World, which is they did here, they did the same thing, right? And they
Mhm.
needed to save the girl who has some type of disease. In Jurassic World, the girl dies, right? So they wanted to create another image of her, so they clone her, which is basically what happens here too. So like, I was just like, again, this movie's just taking genres and different things and flipping it their own way. I'm just like, how much more are we going to be doing of this? You know?
Hold on. Let me look at something real quick, Jess. When was Jurassic World released?
Well,
It was-
Jurassic,
it was Jurassic World
after
Fallen
this.
Kingdom.
Yeah, it was after this, but I was just
That was the-
comparing.
So
the-
Jurassic World ripped off Resident Evil: The Final Chapter is what you're telling us.
Well, what year did Final Fantasy or whatever?
Yeah, yeah, in a
second
way,
Jurassic
yeah,
World was?
yeah.
Fallen Kingdom came out a year later, a
Mhm.
year
Yeah.
after this Fallen Kingdom came out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Swallowing. Probably my favorite thing is them acknowledging that the most detrimental, terrible thing to happen to the planet is not the T virus, but it is religion, and the fact that religion is the basis for everything that. So the Hive is the new ark. They released the T virus to purge the world via the flood and start anew, because we were draining the resources and everything from the world, and they were going to start and crazy clone Isaacs that loses his hand and shit is like super religious, has a bunch of crosses and everything.
Yep.
Like really got like super Christian download. Even though God says don't kill, I'm killing in the name of God. Fucked up,
Cult.
super Christian logic. Religion was the issue, not the virus. And I appreciated that in this movie. That is one of the things that I was like, okay, I see what you did here. Because fanaticism, when it comes to religion, is the true terror.
Evil.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that was just a big ass fucking cult they had.
Katie, spit or swallow?
Listen, Ruby Rose makes an appearance in this movie.
Hey,
Yeah,
shout
she
out.
dies, and it's a terrible death, but like, smash. So she gets to swallow.
All right. Will, spit or swallow?
I swallowed the Red Queen playing Plague Inc. with the real world. She made a reference at one point. There's 4,472 survivors left, and they only have 48 hours. And I play this game on my phone called Plague Inc., and they tell you how many survivors are left on the planet and how long it's projected your survivors are going to be around. So I was like, the Red Queen's playing Plague Inc. Like, so yeah, I swallowed that.
No, so I appreciate the Red Queen's logic here, where she's like, I was programmed to value human life, which goes against everything we learned about her in the first movie when she murders everybody, right? But also protect Umbrella. And Umbrella is now going against that programming by getting rid of all of human life. So I can't physically work against anyone in Umbrella, so I need you to do it for me. Also, the fact that there's a fucking airborne antivirus that has been in Raccoon City this entire time, even though they were looking for an antivirus for like 3 movies.
I mean, in their defense, they really thought Raccoon City was like completely wiped. So like, why would you think it would still be there? You know?
Who?
Right.
But who? Because the Red Queen still knew, and she was running shit. And then all of the Umbrella higher-ups that are in cryo sleep underneath it were... So one of Isaac's clones had to know. Wesker is invincible. He knew because he went there.
That's what I was doing.
Just spit or swallow.
The spitting that this movie was made.
Katie,
like I said,
how we talked
like I
about,
said in the beginning, not like I said in the beginning, not to be a Debbie Downer, but I just stopped taking notes. You know, I just stopped. I was just like, I'm just gonna watch for whatever time limit this has, and then I'm done. You know, like, not to say that I didn't have a good time watching. I was just like, I'm just not gonna include any more analytic notes because they just killed off everything. You know,
That's fair. Remember how we talked about keeping track of our favorite and least favorite movies?
Mhm.
And you have Barricade on the list of things that you absolutely... Can we add Resident Evil Final Chapter to the biggest spits of the year?
Yo, yes, for sure.
I think we're all in agreement on that. Do you guys want to spend more time shitting on this
No.
movie, or
This is definitely the worst one, right? Like
Yes.
I want to know at what point did Dr. Isaacs, before going into cryo sleep, be able to give himself a virus that upgraded him more than Alice was already upgraded?
Mhm.
Like prime Dr. Isaacs?
I don't.
Alicia's just strolling around in a fucking wheelchair, and
Well, she was also cryofrozen
for a little bit, but someone let her out. The
at
thing
the
that
very
really drives me
end.
nuts, the thing that I think bothered me the most about this movie, my biggest spit from this movie is the concept of the movie is they don't want Alice to get the airborne virus and release it because they're trying to purge the world. And Wesker is in the hive and has the ability to lock the hive down and doesn't do it and lets Alice and her team into the hive. All he had to do was lock the doors, and she could have not got in. Everyone would have died, and Umbrella would have won. So why the fuck did he just lock the doors?
Because he likes to play with his food.
No more locked doors. Like,
I don't know.
Also, I
final
was
thoughts?
hoping that this movie, right, coming from the fourth one, that you would have the Wexer and Alice team up to take down the Umbrella, which would have been dope. But you didn't get that, so that would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
I wrote down kind of what you were kind of playing off of what Jess was just saying. I said the White House battle scene was kind of like the building Game of Thrones for the battle against the Night King. You thought it was going to be this huge fucking like awesome thing, and then we really didn't get anything out of it because it was like you were saying, we thought it was going to be Alice and Wesker. Everybody's like, oh shit, we got to team up because the world's going to end. And then it was just kind of like, just kidding. We're going to go with the rest of the movie now. We're going to pivot the rest of the movie from what could have been like the whole concept of this really great battle scene, and they pivot to everything else that happens. So I spit that. I did say I swallowed going back to the hive. It was a cool way to tie the whole series together. And I wrote down the line. It's like the dude's rug. It really tied the room together.
All right. Katie, what was your favorite movie of this franchise?
I'm going Apocalypse.
I'm with you on that. And then we got 2 votes for the original Resident Evil down below. And I think we can all agree that the final chapter was our least favorite movie of this franchise.
Yes.
The worst one. All right. I want to thank you guys for joining us. It was a little bit longer than our normal episode, but I also think we started a little later than 11 o'clock, so we'll see how it clocks out. Just please plug everything Get You and where they can find you.
Yeah, if you like my takes and my jokes, you can find me at Get Your Podcast on Twitter, Get Your Podcast on Instagram. You can also find me with my crew on Marks and Mikes Thursdays or Fridays. So come check us out. There will be a Get Your episode coming out this week.
All right. William, where can they find you?
Thanks as always for letting me be the honorary use of all things Creation World. If you want to find all of my shenanigans elsewhere, check my link tree at The Will Gray. You'll find everything I do for Rivet City Radio, Botchbots, and Share Shots, and Last Word on Sports.
Cater Tot.
You can follow me on Twitter, KatieResson13, link tree in my bio, take all things She Leads Showcase, twitch.tv/She Leads Showcase, youtube.com/She Leads Showcase, Thursdays, 6 p.m.-ish. I don't know if on YouTube this week. She said sometime this month, so I don't necessarily know when, but I'll let you know. And there's a bunch of other fucking shit on the channel you can go check out.
You guys can follow everything Creation World at creationworld.com or at It's Creation World on all social medias. You guys can follow me at Matt Ritter, ZMATTRDDER, at Twitter or at Getting Off. Matt Ritter for your wrestling content, Getting Off for your horror content, and at Smackin' Raw on all other socials. For Miss Katie Kinsey Bay, the Will Gray, and your boy Just, this has been your number one horror podcast on places where you can find people having sex on the internet. And we're back. I'm sure, Will, you're tired. I know you're old and you don't like to stay up this late. If you want to hang out, you can hang out. How did everyone feel about doing it this way? Yes, no?
Honestly, I didn't know that it was 2 hours and almost 2 hours and a half, to be honest.
Okay.
I was like, whoa, I'm like looking at it. We're like, damn, we're already on the third movie. Like we were kind of going through it too.
Is it safe to say, Katie, that you were not expecting us to go that hard on the franchise? And because I feel like I watched you like get more annoyed with us as the movies went on, and I akined it to like how I love Halloween 6, and then we did the Halloween episode, and outside of maybe you, everyone shit on Halloween 6, and it's my favorite movie.
I mean,
Not everyone. I liked it.
Justin's like, I was on your side. I mean, I get it. The reasonings were there for everyone. Like, I get it. But yeah, it's fine.
All right. Will, how'd you feel about doing it this way?
I felt like this way is more. I like this because I can write down the things that I like and don't like about the movie, and I don't feel like I have to take notes for the movie like I'm going to have to take an exam for it. You know what I mean?
And that'll-
Like I don't have to feel
I
like
was
I
gonna
have to remember everything about the movie. I only have to worry about remembering the things that I really like. It felt less intimidating to stare down the barrel of 6 movies without having to feel like I'm, like 80 pages of notes to make sure I can hang.
Right.
And I think that'll help too,
Definitely-
because like I said, I figured out I was going to do that after I had already taken all my notes, and then I went back through and I converted all of my notes into Spits or Swallows. So going into Leprechaun, I feel like I can button this up a little bit so we're not running over 2 hours by having less and hitting the major points. Because trying to go back and read through all the notes I took and then formulate them into Spits or Swallows as opposed to doing that way as I'm taking it was a little bit rough. There was one movie I had 20 Spits or Swallows for when like you gave the count and you're like, I've got like 4 or 5 for everyone. And I think my lowest count was 9 and my highest count was like 20. And it was because it was actually, I think, Afterlife, which I guess I either liked more than I thought or liked way less than I thought. Depending on how you look at it, because there were a lot of spits in Afterlife.
I had 9 for Extinction.
And I will.
That was
will
my
say
most.
this. Honestly, 1 through 3, like I can do. I can sit down. I can enjoy. I can watch. I really like Apocalypse. 3, I'm still good with. It's once we get to 4 that is where it really goes off the rails for me. Though I didn't say this on the show because we didn't really have time, but 4, 5, and 6 are like the prequels of Star Wars to me. And specifically the fact that in the prequels to Star Wars, they like changed kind of the origin. Like all of a sudden Darth Vader is Jesus and midichlorians exist.
Midichlorians.
Blah, blah, blah.
Oh God.
And that was like the retcon that they did in the final chapter. Literally Attack of the Clones happens here.
Yup.
It does.
Yep. With
And
the Caminos.
yeah, like so I look at the back half of the franchise, also how everything was released, the first 3 Resident Evils, and now they're not the prequels, but what would be the prequels of Star Wars in that order of release.
Yeah.
So that's how I looked at it, and that's how I felt about it. And I think that's why I went so hard on it. On those back 3. But the first 3 I do really enjoy, and 2 is my favorite, mostly for Nemesis and Jill Valentine.
Which
Yeah, that's fair.
Alan,
I mean, the first one for me is my favorite. The first one is probably the one I could watch the most. The second is probably the most fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're just looking for what it is. The third one is like it's okay. It's also pretty fun too. But then when you start like connecting like the storylines between 1, 2, and 3, it's kind of what is the third one doing? But the second and the third are probably the most fun out of the movies, the whole series.
I would say the first 2. I said it, I think, when we were on Retribution. The fact that they only had 2 directors through the entire series, but then a slew of writers. And I think that was where the fall happened for this series, is because it's great because you have the same 2 or 3 people at the helm with the same general idea of what the movie is going to look like. But when you have that many different people writing the general story, like, you're never going to be able to keep the story consistent from movie to movie. And I think that's where a lot of the plot holes started to come from. And you see it in other movies. And I'm not saying this to be funny, but you see it in like the Fast and the Furious, and you see it in movies like Saw, and you see it in some of these movies where you have 5, 6, 7, 8 installments, and you start seeing cycling writers through in groups where some of the plot holes, you're like, okay, we'll let that slide because I really like this movie. But,
Right.
you know, like, you start to see that a lot in movies like this.
No, you're right. You're exactly right. Like the continuity and the feel of the movie, it definitely changes. You know.
Agreed.
Since you guys are here, what's your guys' availability tomorrow night at like 11 p.m.?
So midnight.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
I won't be available tomorrow night at 11.
Okay. Katie?
Yeah, Tuesday's the long for me.
Can be.
Not and it's not for a full show. I'm just asking for the switch session portion.
Yeah, that's usually why you bring me on. Oh, but yeah, that's fine.
That's cool. You can do it.
You're the only podcaster I know who's like, "Hey, you want to come on my show, but just for the end?"
Well, isn't that the fun? I mean, it's easy, right? You don't have to watch any wrestling. Just come in for the sweaty session.
I mean,
By the way, are you also available too?
I will let you know how I'm feeling come 11 o'clock because it's Creation Conversation, Smacking It Raw,
All right.
this 2 podcasts, and then I'm doing Apron Bump tomorrow because that got bumped today. So we did Botch Butts this morning, this tonight, and 5 or 6 podcasts in 4 days. I'll see how worn out I am. If I'm feeling it. I'll let you know.
Just so you note it down. So the sweaty session is what karaoke songs would the wrestlers sing? So fairly easy. So
okay.
But yeah.
I don't think anyone's watching. We can end the stream.
You sure? I'm Anthony. You good?
I am Thorny
Junior.
That's Timmy.
Tell me.
Yeah, I'd say. Would you say it's worse than Barricade, Katie?
I don't know. Like, Barricade was just god awful. This one's just so bad because it took everything from beforehand and fucked it up. No, Barricade's still worse.
There you go. All right. Thank you, everyone who, if you watched this far, we appreciate you. We love you. Bye.
Deuces.